etc.
Ooh.
Hello, beautiful people. And I still haven't sent the link to the VL or the jury, but same
Yeah.
rules as previous distortion seasons. The players will be in the waiting room. The players will be in the waiting room. Once it's their turn, they will be let in. They will also be let known in the jury chat that they are up or on deck. Just give me 1 second to find the VL.
Question.
Yes.
Are we going in order of like elimination?
Uh, for the most part, there are some people who have decided to go earlier, before, later, for the time being. So that will be uh specified as well. Give me 1 moment.
I haven't done this in a while. Oh my
Literally.
God. But I have hosted it many of times in this game. I
Oh,
helped with
God.
All right. Well, as mentioned earlier, you guys, Cam, as the winner of the final immunity challenge, has set the order on which everyone will do their speeches. So just to clarify, um, to the jurors and the viewers, the order that Cam has chosen is that for opening speeches, Cam will go first, Morgan will go second, Nick will go third, leading to Nick going first, Morgan going second, Cam will go third in the closing. That being said, uh, Cam, since you have chosen to go first, whenever you are ready, your time will start when you start speaking.
I would like to start by thanking production for inviting me back for a big season like All Stars. This season was about cementing my legacy in this game, and which I know I did. Making it all the way to FTC again with such a huge target on my back, doing things I missed out on my first 2 times playing, and reaching every goal I set for myself was a huge accomplishment. I immediately made individual connections with everyone on the Sunset Tribe, even Jason. However, the feeling was not reciprocated since he barely spoke to people and I had stronger game connections to everyone else. I was immediately put in an alliance called Gag City, which includes the final 3 that are here, that took control of the entire game. I also got added to a majority alliance called Very Demure, which included us 3, Al, and Alex. There was also talk of the same alliance, but with Trevor instead of Al. Next came the swap, where it was a tricky situation due to the tribe split between OG Rodeo and OG Sunset. We all knew it'd come down to rocks, but Staten seemed close to flipping. Once we read the rocks, which was something I explicitly said I wanted to happen this season, it worked out with Staten being rocked out and OG Sunset sticking together with the Alliance. Gotta love Sunshine. I still kept in contact with Jacob, Crispy, and Chris afterward in case there was another tribal. Once we merged, I met up with former tribe mates. I also made an unexpected bond with Rachel. Things solidified between us during the food chain immunity challenge, where we worked together to both be immune. The planned target for merge was always going to be either Crispy or Jacob, but the move was Jacob due to believing that he'd be more flexible game wise. After Chris gave immunity to Crispy, I had a call with Jacob where he told me he'd be voting Alex. I told Alex immediately, solidifying his vote despite other people's concern with him not wanting to do it. During the Chris vote, I was the person that people were trying to get to flip, despite me being heavily connected with my tribe. I even watched Rachel spin the wheel that made her decide to vote Al. While I wanted Chris out, I still got added to the chat that was made where they were pleading their case, saying I was going to be targeted because I won before, which was never the case. I was also the person that told Chris he was getting votes because he had no shot in the dark to save himself. From the Golden Grades round, everyone wanted Rachel to leave, but I preferred if Crispy left because he was the person I felt least connected to left in the game. I knew for my game that Rachel winning the POP would benefit me most, so I was relieved when she won. During the vote, I saved Alex because of our very demure alliance and got what I wanted once again. Since Rachel was the only person left in OG Rodeo, I didn't want her to be voted out yet. I even spoke with others about wanting to keep her for a bit. The name that was agreed upon was Lyndon, and I was the one that let Rachel know the plan. I knew it was the right choice because I ended up getting my way while keeping others more comfortable with me in the game. This next vote was the hardest vote for me this season. I knew I could trust Alex, but I also knew he was the biggest threat to win in Sunsets. Although it was a hard vote, I knew it was the only option I had at that moment. The next tribal is where I knew I had to cut my ties with Rachel because I knew if she made it to the end, she'd win. This was also when I started planning which path I knew would get me to the end. Since the vote was steady on Rachel, I was planting seeds that I wanted Trevor out before Final Four. I knew it was my only obstacle making FTC was Trevor. I was also told Wesley was planning to nominate me if he won HOH. After the Rachel vote, I chose to compete in veto because I knew if Wesley won, I'd be nominated. He was the only one that'd do it, but I still wanted to be safe. He won HOH, but didn't nominate me until after veto. I knew I'd be staying unanimously, and I knew I'd have to make sure Wesley left right after. After Final Six immunity, the main plan was Wesley, but Morgan and I discussed making a plan for just in case Wesley's shot in the dark worked. Wesley played it by telling Wesley to play it, and Esteban throwing his vote on Trevor so that we could vote Trevor out in a revote. The revote wasn't necessary, but I still got my way either way. Final five is where I finally put the plan into action. Esteban winning immunity was perfect for me, but Nick and Morgan wanted Esteban to give immunity away to Morgan so they could vote him out. I never wanted that to happen, but wanted to make them think I did. So I faked the Morgan plan well enough for Esteban to consider doing it, but never pushed him to giving his immunity away. When the plan didn't work for them, I told Esteban that I truly wanted Trevor out, not Morgan. I also knew Morgan wanted Trevor out a bit, and Nick and Trevor were going to vote for me. So I worked hard to make sure they'd both vote Trevor. By the end of the vote, I came out looking the best because Nick and Esteban were fighting, and Morgan got called out by Trevor. Final five was the first and only time this season I got votes, but I knew I wasn't going anywhere. I had the final four that I wanted for a while, which then led to me getting the final three I wanted because I wanted a day two alliance to make it. I was preparing all season for game trivia immunity, which I ended up winning, which is the only regret I had in season 7. We then unanimously voted out Esteban. My positioning and timing for moves this season was nearly perfect. I was always in a great spot, with people not even realizing, and I was very calculated with what I needed to do in order to make it here. I made many side connections, such as Rachel and Esteban, that got me all the information I needed to move forward with this game. There is so much more I want to talk about, so I cannot wait for all the questions that you may have. And good luck. Thank you.
All right. Next up is Morgan. So again, Morgan, whenever you start speaking, your time will start.
All right. I've spent a lot of time going over my previous games since the time I last played, what I did wrong and what needed corrected. The two things that stood out that really define my game are threat management and blind spots. This time around, I made sure to keep myself completely insulated the entire time, through my alliances from the start and my one-on-one connections made throughout the game. My game works best when I have the most information, and I had to market myself as someone you could share information with, knowing other people's spot in the game and masquerading myself as someone in a similar position to them. I was willing to risk everything to maintain this spot in the game. At the swap, I knew I was someone leading the majority alliance, and by chance in this game, it became clear that the road to the end, in which I maintained control and position, was right in front of me. I went to Rocks and had to convince two people who weren't in the Sunset majority, Lyndon and Esteban, that it was in their best interest as well. I'd put in a lot of effort with Esteban specifically pre-swap, and he promised his allegiance to me moving forward. Come time for the merge, my game was in a necessary spot to take out more OG Rodeo, starting with Jacob, someone personable and social, with connections in the game that could be used later on. Following that with Chris O was necessary for me personally. I felt at that point our games were already against each other, and there was no way to build trust, which is what I operated on. The Golden Gates round meant the loss of Crispy, someone I had intended to work with further, but due to circumstances and people winning certain things, I had to take another avenue. After that was the perfect spot to take out some OG Sunset, Lyndon and Alex. These were both plans that were discussed heavily ahead of time. Lyndon, while I did trust you, we didn't talk as strongly at that point. And I worried about your relationship with Cam, someone I wanted to keep loyal to me personally. Alex was someone being talked up as a huge jury threat, and after discussing this vote, I voted out Alex and went against the plan to include Al, someone I valued and wanted to keep in this game. In the end stretch, I proved that I was willing to play as cutthroat as possible to secure this win, and prove not only to the jury, but to myself that I would do whatever it took. Heading into Billy's big brother, I had set myself up with a good relationship in Wesley, knowing that he was the one person in that scenario who could change the plans. While most people had already written him off, I felt the need to pursue all blind spots, and it paid off. I knew I would be safe and knew to risk my spot in veto for Final 6 immunity, which I would go on to win. At the Final 6 vote, I made sure to set up for the scenario of Wesley's shot in the dark being played and got Esteban to vote for Trevor. Nick had told me ahead of time that they were voting for Esteban, so that allowed me to keep him safe. My move at Final 5 to take out Trevor was purely my idea, securing my safety at Final 4 regardless of who won immunity, and putting Nick and Cam in a more risky position. It was something I struggled with personally, but I knew I needed to do for my own game. While I do recognize the visual threat of Cam based on his stats alone, I stand by my decision. Cam is someone who was looped into votes and was never a real driving force and was never secure in the alliance as he thought he was. At many points, he proved that, going along with the Lyndon vote despite their relationship, or the Alex vote, where Cam was the last person to be told other than Al. I truly believe I played this game to the best of my ability, keeping as many options open at all times, and ultimately being a main decision maker and power player on a season full of them. While my other finalists may have cases to make, I think mine stands out as the most well-rounded, winning 2 individual immunities, maintaining social relationships so strong that I only received 1 vote against me the entire time, and strategizing myself and setting myself up from all angles to remain on the right side of every single vote and to never be called out as the biggest threat, but as a threat the entire time. I was constantly talked up as a threat, with no real way of targeting me or sending me home. I'm ready, as I have been this entire game, to prove myself here and now and claim this. This season meant so much to me personally. Distortion has brought me so much in the org community, my entire fan base, a strong confidence, and it has shown that I'm a force to be reckoned with. I want it and I'm hungry for it, and I'm not going to let either person sitting next to me tonight take it without a damn good fight. So I'm ready for any questions, and I'm ready to answer truthfully and honestly. Thank you.
All right. Just to confirm, you're abstaining the rest of your time. All right. In that case, Nick, whenever you are ready, when you start speaking, your time will start.
I first want to say thank you to production for this opportunity and the players for making my experience as amazing as it has been. I would also like to take the time to acknowledge that some of the things that I've done in this game weren't the nicest, and if given the opportunity, I would love to explain and potentially apologize for the things that I do need to apologize for. With that being said, my strategy in the pre-merge was to win and become as dependable as possible without being someone that was seen as too much of a threat. And when winning wasn't a possibility for me, making the people who trusted me not trust others became paramount. That came in the form of making the game an us versus them mentality. This continued for me up until the Crispy vote, but I also wanted to address my thinkings in the Jacob, Chris O, and Crispy vote. For me, with the Jacob vote, Jacob was the nicest person in the game. So nice, in fact, that he easily could have slid under the radar and have been a real issue for me in the future. I wanted to cut that off before it actually became an issue for me. With Chris O, at the time, Chris, you were essentially the easiest vote strictly on a strategic level to get everyone to agree on. And it also kept the 9 together, seeing as I was one of the most insulated people within it. I do wish that I would have talked to you more on a personal level, because when I did, I enjoyed it immensely. Crispy, at the time, I knew I had to get rid of either you or Rachel so that the agency that came with the 2 of you was significantly lessened. To me, it didn't matter who it was between the 2 of you. I want to take a second to acknowledge that prior to my conversation with Rachel during that round, I wasn't thinking about how my gameplay could negatively affect the 4 of you or your mental health, and I'd like to apologize for that. It doesn't matter to me who else did it. What matters is what I did, and I hope that after this game, you can truly see that I do mean that when I say I'm sorry for how I took part in isolating the 4 of you at that time. After the Crispy vote, nothing strategic really changed for me other than keeping my closer allies as close to me as possible and how I went about treating people in the game. For Lyndon's vote, I felt at that point, Lyndon, your vote out, we didn't talk nearly enough, and you were the only one left that I didn't have a good grasp of how you wanted to play the rest of the game. With Alex's vote, getting people to look at you as a real vote started before the Lyndon vote for me. I had conversations with Morgan, Trevor, Cam, and Rachel about it, sometimes multiple times a day. I needed you gone because you filled something that I wanted to be in the game. You were the obvious threat that people painted as somebody who could bulldoze their way to the end, and I needed to be seen as that. Rachel, you are somebody that has a personality that draws people in. Every conversation with you for me felt so natural that I loved having every single one of them. With that being said, you're also someone who, while not meaning to, can take those natural connections that you build by just being yourself and run the game with them. I said this during our rites of passage, and I mean it, that if you made it to finale, I would have voted for you over anyone. I think that your perseverance in these games are akin to none. You had a mentally horrible first couple of votes in this game, so bad mentally that we had discussed how it made you stop caring about the game overall, but you didn't quit and you kept on moving, and I appreciate that so much. Al, you are somebody who could turn the most awkward of situations into the funniest moments by just being yourself. And I feel as though had Billy's big brother gone any other way, you would have been in this game possibly where I'm sitting. I told you then, and I hope you can see now why I voted for you. For me, it came down to the fact that even if I voted for Cam, which I did at the final 5, he still would have taken me to the end, which he did. It was about keeping those close to me still on the game. And at that point, with the options given to me, I couldn't vote for Cam. Wesley, sending you to the jury at 6th was to ensure that there was no chance that somebody could take a shot at me at 5 or 4. At that point, the only other person that would have was Esteban. On top of the fact that you made Esteban and Cam mad by nominating them the round prior, it was just a shot that I had to take. Trevor, I never envisioned a Final 3 scenario that did not have you in it. Your vote was the only vote that I was ever truly blindsided by in this game. I have more respect for you than I have any singular person in life. Period. I think you're an amazing human being. I can't talk about how this vote positively impacted my game because I don't think that it did. Esteban, I know I hurt you with what I said after the Final 5 Tribal Council, and even if you don't vote for me tonight, I want you to know I'm sorry. I was angry and hurt, and I truly didn't think it was smart for you to vote for Trevor, but the way I acted and how I carried myself in those moments was not okay, and you didn't deserve that. To the jury as a whole, when you think about the winner of this game, I want you to vote for who you think played the best game. I hope you give all 3 of us the opportunity to plead our cases to you and are open to listening to every single one of us. To me, Distortion is so much more than a game. I played season 3 and loved it so much that I begged to be on production and went on to join the production team for seasons 4 to 7 and the planning of season 8. The people on the Distortion production team and a lot of the players throughout these seasons have become family to me. I have met some of my best friends in the whole world through this game, Morgan and Cam being 2 of them, as well as a few of you on jury, and even some of the pre-jury in this game. And I wouldn't change a thing about this game, not because I liked being mean or that I thought I wasn't a bitch, but because I got to do it all with people I genuinely love and cherish. I cannot wait to answer your questions, and I hope that you're excited to see how I answer them. Thank you.
All right. And with that, remember when you guys were like, oh, did you go in order? But you didn't for this one. So we are going to let our first juror in. Again, they're going to have the 9 minutes. And then, yeah. Hello, Esteban. Can you hear us? We're like, oh, did you go in
Yes,
order?
I can.
All right, Esteban, your 9 minutes start whenever you start talking and whenever you're ready.
All right. First of all, I would like to use this platform to say thank you to all our production team because I haven't get a chance to do that in my final 4 because you all voted me out when I was on my drunk mood. So anyways, again, thank you so much for giving a chance on me, production, and to all the players of the game. Thank you so much for making this fun for me. Everything that I will utter after this is all just game words, okay? This is not meant to hurt anyone or whatsoever. All right, this is a game and we are playing the game. All right, good evening again. And first, congratulations on making it to the final 3. Regardless on how you made it here, you all deserved a kudos for that. Okay, and yes, you might well be deserved to be here, but do you really deserve to win or even gain a vote at all tonight? Well, in a game like Survivor, it has never been a criteria to win only when you are always present, actively planning the biggest, the demise of others, or just win challenges. One of the biggest factor of the game is the social part of it, which some of you, I feel like, failed to realize. And you all kind of, when people said that the jury played a friend Viver, because I was so surprised that you two really are so close with each other personally. When you thought yourself as a perfect person to win the game because you mastermind most of the votes and that you won challenges. Unfortunately, you are killing your chance on winning as you have been inappropriately, or you forgot that we are all people here and these people will choose the winner. And they all have the rights to choose what ways they wanted to, even out of spite, or whatever part of the game it is. And if you're gonna lose because of that, well, blame it on you. So please, next time, please hold your horses, because this is just a game. And yes, this is a game that you really respect, but again, still, we are all human and always choose kindness. Well, this shit is bananas. People said that you called me that. It sucks knowing that people you tried to respect and trust didn't reciprocate it. And they bought it. They thought that It's their win when they are fooling you and calling you names unnecessarily. As some of you had said, I don't deserve to be here. Well, it sucks to be you because the jury respects how the game I played with, and more than some of yours. As I admittedly inactive due to untoward circumstances in the life, yet I built relationship to, if not all to you, but most of the people. And they had given me respect and chances to do so. So it more should be more on the quantity or the quality of the game you have, but not on the quantity. Not because you think so is always the right thing though. I hope this will be a learning to some of you sitting there, not that a not so deserving person that is talking to you right now might be the reason of you not winning. You know, just a little RESPECT. That is what people needed on this game. I might have just one vote for tonight, but I have my voice, and the jury really have ears and heart and mind that listens. To some of you, I will not ask some questions because you already said your piece, and as you said, probably you have talked a lot on the game. And I feel like to a person who don't deserve to be here, you also don't deserve the time that I have because it's just 9 minutes. And for others, well, Morgan, when all you said that all the things that you have done is with intention, is it also your intention to make people feel bad in the game and call them ill names behind their back just to prove your worth in the game? Or is that part of your social prowess?
I will say that this game definitely took a line into personal sometimes, and I can fully own that. When you're in a group of people and they all feel that way, and of course you want to stay in the majority, it is easier to do that. And I agree with that. But as for my stance and my morals, I feel perfectly content in what I did. I mean everything that I say. If I'm saying something behind closed doors, of course that can be misconstrued in any sort of type of way. But I mean what I say and I know what I feel.
All right, thank you. Cam, first of all, thank you for the respect and congratulations. Well, you might be the first, 2 times winner, and congratulations in advance, probably. I will give you my time to prove us, because some people said that you are just a goat with a small g, GOAT, of the people that is sitting next to you. I want you to prove us that you are the goat with a big G of the things that you have done in this game. Can you name things that highlights your game?
I feel like the main highlights of my game are the fact that I managed to stay under the radar despite how big of a target I had on my back, and then striking when least expected it. Because I did have a lot of things going on in my head. I was planning out every single vote with what I knew was best for me because I always knew what would get me here. So I do feel like I had a lot of planning, and I also kept options in the back of my head. For example, I really did want you in this game, and I knew that you were honestly at the top of my trust ranking for like a lot of this game. So like I knew almost everything that was happening in this game, and like the fact that I made it all the way here again with only getting votes at final 5, only time this game, was like an achievement on its own.
All right, thank you, Cam. Nick, good luck, and I hope we can talk after this. To the jury, this game is not a challenge that we need to give the win not to the only person who won lots of challenges, not only a big brother that is just a friend viber game that people called it to be their strategic way, but in fact it is not. This is a survivor game that at the end we should honor the player who played the game with versatility and completeness, who wins challenges, been part of the planning, yet did it subtly and with dignity and with respect to everyone. Well, that is for me a winnable game. So friends, let us make history and I want to be part of it. Probably a Sandra win here. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Esteban. Love you. And can you leave the Zoom when you can? No, it came off rude. I apologize. All right. Next up is your next juror. Chris, can you hear us?
Hear ya, can you hear me?
Yes. All right. Well, your time starts when the timer or when you start speaking.
Okay. I've told you guys, I'm pretty sure I've told all of you at some point in this game. I have a very weak spine, but I still get very intense when I play this game. Know that nothing I'm saying here is personal. I love you all as individuals, and I don't care whatever happens tonight. I hope you guys can still respect me for that. That's all. So let me pull out my bullet points. Okay, I'm going to be 100% frankly honest with you. I think this has become even more obvious with your guys' opening speech. I have a very hard time distinguishing between your strategic games. And it's very difficult to pick out the absolute minutia of why you guys might have had opinions on one vote when so much of the mechanics of how you guys got here felt very samey. And because of that, I kind of feel like I have to defer to some other metrics that I would usually not use when making my decision. So I'm asking all of you one very simple question. It's one that I established from the beginning of the game in my intro video, where I said I came and I wanted to make friends and I wanted to make sure everybody had a good time. I'm giving you all 90 seconds to answer this question. I also randomized the order, so it's completely fair. Did you guys have a fun time playing this season and playing the way you did? Why or why not? I want you to give me the answer. I want you to tell me the truth, not the answer you think I want to hear. I randomized the order. Nick, you will be going first. I'll keep my timer in front of the screen so you can see it.
Awesome. I think for the majority of the time I did, I built really great bonds personally with Rachel and Trevor that I didn't have before this game. I had a lot of fun with the people that I played the game with. I know I didn't play the game with everyone, so everyone didn't see that, but I had fun playing this game. There were times when I didn't have fun, i.e., the thing with me and Esteban, which I do regret. However, for the majority of the game, I can say yes, I enjoyed myself and I had fun, and I did it with people that I respect and care about.
Awesome. Okay. Let me reset that. Next person on deck is Cam. When you're ready.
Yes, I had a pretty good time with this season. I feel like I made a lot of new friends this season. Like after the season, I'd love to talk with each and every person here. Because I was always made sure to at least talk to everybody all day. And like getting to know people is like the fun part of this game, in my opinion. Like I'm always playing these games to meet new people and make new friends. So that's where I had fun. There were always some times where I was thinking a bit too much about the game, but that's to come with the game. But overall, I feel like it was a pretty good experience, especially like I'm at a loss for words, but especially just like being here again, like playing my third season, like after the first two seasons. Season 2, such a great time. Season 7, I played too hard and too game body. This time I wanted a balance of both, and I feel like I achieved that. And that's my time.
Awesome. And obviously, Morgan, that leaves you for last.
I will say, honestly, there were a lot of points in this game where I wasn't having fun. I was really focusing a lot on the game and how to get through it in the game. There were a lot of people that went out fairly early on, like say like an Al. Like Al was somebody who I was so excited to get to know on a personal level. And I really valued that new friendship. I had never met Al before. And that was the person that I personally felt closest to. And even after Al got voted out, I was still like trying to find that one-on-one, like, where are you? I just want to talk to you. Like, you're my niceness in this game. And it felt like I wasn't allowed to be nice. I wouldn't allow myself to be nice because I didn't want to put emotion into it. And that's just how I chose to play the game at the end of the day, was just to be cold. And it did make me lose some of the fun of it.
Okay. I appreciate all of your answers because I can definitely tell from what I do know about you guys that they were very honest. I very much respect that. I was going to go on a much larger speech after this, but Esteban honestly covered a bit of the moments that I wanted to, so I might just skim through some of the main things. The main reason I asked this is because I think you guys are expecting this, that there is a lot of people on this jury who feel very bitter and very upset with the way that things played out. And it's not just necessarily what happened, but sometimes the way in which they played out. From what you guys answered me, I know you guys have excellent self-awareness. I know what you guys think, and I know, like, I truly don't think this final three comes together if you didn't have a decent understanding of what some of us jurors end up valuing. And at the same time, I end up feeling very surprised at what I end up hearing when people come back from the jury. Conversations or ideas or things that are said that you almost say without the expectation that it ends up getting back to us. And that ends up making things really weird. And I think there's more than a couple of jurors who feel like there was a line that crossed, and I appreciate that you guys are acknowledging that sometimes those lines were crossed, especially when they felt very directly told. I definitely told at least one of you that the reason I like playing these games is I like putting my full into them because I want to make sure that everybody else has the opportunity to play as hard as they want. And I don't feel like that was necessarily reciprocated to me by a large number of players. And I think those things wouldn't usually bother me, except for the fact that what I said before, I find it personally very difficult to distinguish the minutia of your strategic games. Now, I want to make it very clear, guys, I'm not doing this to guilt trip you or make you feel bad about what happened. That's not my goal here. But I just want to give you a warning about what the rest of this jury might be thinking as they're coming up to you, and also a understanding of what a lot of the expectations are going to be behind why people are motivating the votes they want to go. I still love it and respect all three of you as people. I want to legitimately be friends. Reach out to my DMs as soon as the season's over. They will be completely open. And with that, I am going to step off my soapbox. Congratulations on making it to the end. Once again, I love and respect all three of you. Know that none of this was personal, and I might come off on its intense, and I apologize. And may the best all-star win. I relieve the rest of my time, Zeb.
All right, thank you, Chris. Just give me one moment. We are going to wait for the next juror to join.
Am I good to leave?
Yes.
Peace out, guys.
All right, here is your next juror. Hello, Crispy, can you hear us?
Yes. Hold on. Don't start my time yet. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, your time starts when you start speaking.
Okay. Hi. Congratulations to the three of you. You know, my vote is very open, not because I think the three of you played necessarily amazing strategic games, but because I have to vote for somebody in order to collect my appearance fee. So, with that being said, I'm having a really hard time thinking of a reason to feel good about my vote. Nick, I'm finding it hard to vote for you specifically because we did not talk. We did not talk at all. I don't know what it was, if it was just me not being part of your plans, whatever, but we didn't speak. So I don't know if I can reward my personal vote with somebody I had zero relationship with in the game. Cam, I'm finding it hard to vote for you because while we did speak, it felt like you wanted absolutely nothing to do with me strategically, which was evident by your opening speech. You laid that out very clear, so heard. I do wish that you could have told me that in the game so I wouldn't have wasted my time and I could have pursued other avenues, because a lot of the things that I'm learning coming out of the game is that I put more stock into certain people because I thought that there was hope with you, but it turns out that there was false hope, which I don't know if I can put my vote behind that either. And Morgan, I'm finding it hard to want to vote for you because we had a conversation at one point in the game that I did tell the jury about, and it sounds like that the jury did not know about it, but I'm going to reiterate it now. That you said that there was no way for the two of us to work together until Chris O was voted out of the game. And then Chris O was voted out of the game. And then I came to you, was like, hey, he's not here. Like, let's make this work. Like, I'm open. It's just Rachel and I have no agency. Blah. And then basically I just got brushed off. So it was like, it felt appeasy to me. Again, going back to that false hope. So like, I'm a straight shooter. I like, you could have been honest with me. Like, that's fine. I would have rather people be honest with me instead of either icing me out or treating me with disrespect or giving me false hope. So, but with all that being said, I don't care about your strategies. I really don't. Like, they're all the same to me. Like, someone could say one move and I would not be able to pinpoint who did it. And so my one question, maybe one, if I don't like the answers, I'll ask another question. But my one question is, what did you learn about me, Chris Provost, in the game? Nothing about what you might have known about me before, but what did you learn about me in the game? And I don't care who goes first.
I'll go first because I feel like this was our first time ever actually like getting to know each other on like one-on-one conversations level. But I did learn that you do work at a bookstore, which is honestly slay. And I also learned that we have damn near the exact fucking same Wendy's order. Like, that was like our mind waves, you know? Yeah, like, I feel like I do want to also mention that I do apologize if I gave you false hope in any way, and I'll let the others answer.
I learned, obviously we had never played in a game before and we hadn't really had a chance to speak before this. I learned that you live in a building of literally mothers. I don't know how that came to be, but you living with some icons was written in the stars. I know that you're saying I gave you false hope, and I apologize if it came off as pandering. That's never something that I'm looking to do in a game. It's actually something I stand hard pressed against. In my plan, I did want to work with you moving forward. And I can stand here and say that now and know that it's 100% true. I have it written down on a paper in the other room. So it just is how the cards laid out with the way that live night format worked, unfortunately.
I first want to start off by saying I'm sorry I didn't talk to you the night that you went. That was obviously something that I regretted. With that being said, we did not talk in this game, so I'm not going to give you a bullshit answer and act like I knew that, because I didn't, and that's on me. And one thing I do want to say is I feel like a lot of the times in this game, I use this idea of if I don't talk to you, you can't be mad at me mentality. And I can see how that's incredibly infuriating for you. And if I could go back, I wish I would have talked to you guys more. You, Jacob, and Chris O specifically, because I feel like not even for game, I feel like those are three people. Well, Jacob's already my friend, but you and Chris O specifically, I feel like you are two people who could have been my friend outside of this game, but I didn't get the opportunity to give you the opportunity to get to know me or get the chance to get to know you because I decided to put that X there. I don't have anything. I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and try and come up with some bullshit answer because I don't think that's what you want.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. Because you're right, I don't want bullshit. And unlike anybody else, like I am not going to yield my time. So I am going to go until I am pulled off of that fucking stage because this is the most I've been able to talk to all three of you. So like I'm going to make it count. I do hope that you guys learn a little bit on how to treat others in games going forward and just life in general because like a lot of people were felt really hurt, not just from OG Rodeo, but like a lot of people were kind of burned, which like the bitter Betty part of me is like, haha, told you so, told you so. But you know, just learn a little bit on how to speak to people and how to treat people because I always played these games with wanting to treat everybody with respect. And I feel like the three of you didn't do that. And that's a shame. That's too bad because I don't think that that Distortion deserves that especially in an all-star season. So I guess to wrap it up, I am a book reader. I love to read books. And if you could give me a genre of book that captures your game, what would it be? I don't need a huge explanation. Just give me a genre.
Thriller.
Cute.
Mystery.
Yeah, I was gonna say mystery. Like
You can say whatever you want, Cam. It's fine.
I'm not good with books. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I do have to shadow mystery.
Okay. Prod, how much time do I have left?
13 seconds.
Okay. All right. Congrats, y'all. Congrats. I'm done.
Your time's up anyways. Thank you. All right. Just to let you guys know, we love all three of you. Just remember, just breathe, drink some water, don't die. And
remember, as much as the jury is coming at you guys right now, please know that, like, at the end of the day, you guys are all still great people. I know sometimes I can get a little lost in translation, but just keep on pushing. You're not halfway there yet. I wouldn't want to lie to you, but you got a long way to go.
all right. Next up, we have Alex. Alex cannot make it, but he did send a question. And he wanted me to let you know that you actually, let me just read it. Okay. Alex states his question. Please tell me why you do not deserve to win this game. If you mention either of the other finalists in your answer, such as this person did this better than me, then I will not vote for you to win. I already don't want to cap my vote for any of you, so be careful how you answer.
I'll go first. I don't think I deserve to win because of the way that I treated some people on the jury. and the way I handled my relationships with them in the game.
I don't deserve to win because I didn't take into effect how my game was going to affect everyone else.
Yeah, I don't deserve to win because I was like not as honest with people as I should have been. And I was like, as mentioned earlier, giving way too much false hope to people when I should not have been.
All right, just give me 1 second here. Uh, Jen, just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, that was the only question that Alex had. But we will move on to our next juror. Rachel, hello, can you hear us?
I unmuted myself and then nodded to say that I was ready while I was off camera. So that's how my day is going.
All right, your time starts whenever you start speaking.
Um I think it's hilarious that Prod apologized to you guys for how rough this is gonna be right around the time I got to speak. So buckle up, buddies. Just kidding. I'm not like a raging bitch. Well, I am, but like maybe not today. So my first question, and Seb can actually I'll pull a Chriso here and I'll get my own timer out. Because I want to make sure I have time for all the questions that I want to ask. Is Are you proud of the game you played and why? First, Cam, go. 1 minute.
I am proud of the game that I played because I feel like I did everything that I could right. I feel like there wasn't a moment where I wasn't clued into what was going on in the game. And I feel like I did great with flying under the radar until it was too late for people to realize that I was sliding by. And I do truly believe that I put in so much work to get here, and I did fight as hard as everyone to get here. And I also made sure to message every single person every single day. So that's why I believe I deserve to win. Thank you.
Period. Healthcare hero. So proud of you. Um, okay. Next up, Morgan. Have fun.
I only wanted to sit here in this position if I knew I was proud of the game that I played. And no matter what happens, I am proud of it. I am proud of the way that I got to the end, that I didn't give up my autonomy in this game to do what other people wanted, that I was able to stay clear and strong throughout this whole game with only one vote cast against me. Like, it meant something to me just because I'm such a big fan of Survivor and the game as a whole. So despite anything that happens tonight, I am proud of it.
You want to make these last 15 count?
All right, we'll watch it count down together. Love the countdown. We'll watch. I don't have anything else to say. I am proud.
All right. I almost did something so mean, but I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna say I'll give you as much time as you gave me the round I went home, Nick, and we'll just skip your turn. But we'll go ahead and give you your minute. Go ahead.
While I think there were moments that I wasn't as proud of my game, I do think overall I am proud of my game. There were goals that I so badly wanted to meet in this game, and I've completed every single one of them. I maybe am not proud of the way I treated some people in this game, but I'm definitely proud of the game in which I played. I think that had I played a different game type of game, I would have had a significantly harder time getting to where I am. And as frustrating as it might be for the jurors, this was my easiest way to the end. And it did feel easy at times. Not that it was always easy, but I am proud that I was able to play a game like I did and prove to myself that I can do that.
Okay, slay, slay, slay. Next up, I'm gonna be that annoying, really annoying person and ask you all to close your eyes. And I am going to ask you to raise your hand if you think that you could have beaten the person if you were sitting next to them at the end. So we're gonna go in whatever order my brain remembers everyone. First up, Jacob. Next up, Chris. Next up, Crispy. Next up, Lyndon. Next up, was Alex. Oopsies. Next up, me. Next up, Al. Next, Wesley. Next, Trevor. Next, Esteban. Next, Cam. Morgan. And Nick. All right, go ahead and open your eyes. Only one of you raised your hands pretty much ever. So I think it's really interesting to be proud of the game that you played and then sit next to two people that you don't think that you could beat, or to sit next to like not really think that you could beat anyone in the game. Maybe that's a moment to reflect on yourself and think about why you played the game that you did if you didn't think that you could win against anyone. Very, very, very odd. I'm gonna use my last. How much time do I have, Seb?
229, 227.
Oh, perfect. Nick, let's chat a little bit because I think it's really kind of a slap in the face to talk about how you treated people in the game and say that our call was a like wake up moment for you. And then to talk to me for the 2 rounds that you needed my vote and that you felt like I was okay enough to clue in and use for 2 rounds, and then proceed to go back to doing exactly what I had a full-on breakdown over a call with you about. And messaged me maybe an hour I think before my vote to tell me that you were voting me out, but basically go no contact for the rest of the round. Despite me asking over and over and over and over and over since swap that if you respected me as a friend, that you could still talk to me as a person and look me in the eyes day one and say, hey, I don't want to vote with you. I don't want you in this game, but I love you and I'd love to chat about literally anything else. Because I had those relationships in this game. Morgan was one of them. Cam, you kind of did your own thing a little bit that confused the fuck out of me, but I digress. You've kind of explained your part already. But Nick, you've continued to name Crispy, Jacob, and Chris as people that you treated poorly in this game. But I do think I still belong on that list. So I'm gonna give you the space to talk about that now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I actually was gonna put in my closing an apology to you, which like obviously you wouldn't know about that. Because it hasn't happened yet. I do feel as though I reverted back to that same toxic behavior that we had talked about on that call. And to be honest with you, I have no excuse. If you don't vote for me tonight, I understand why, because I wouldn't want to be treated like that. I think what it was for me is on a personal level, I wanted to work with you so much, but on a game level, I knew that if I gave you any chance or opportunity, or if anybody else gave you a chance or opportunity, you would run with it and get to the end. And like I said in my opening, had you been there over anybody, over Morgan, over Cam, over Trevor, I was voting for you. Because you were somebody who, like we talked about in our call, had such a bad start to this merge. And if you were able to go from that to making it to the end, there's no reason for me not to vote for you. There's no reason for me to vote for anybody else. And I think being put in my head, I have really bad anxiety with confrontation. And the idea of having to tell you to your face, hey, I'm voting you out and you're probably going home, gave me a lot of anxiety. And it's probably something that hindered my game in a lot of ways, like a lot of really, really strong ways. And I'm sorry that I did that to you. I'm sorry that I put you in a position to where you once again felt like shit in this game because of me. I never intended that. I wish I had the confidence to just tell you, and there's not really much else I can really say other than I'm sorry.
Perfect. Do I have any time left?
No.
Oh, well. Love you all dearly. Kind of. I will in about an hour, probably. But I get to be a bitter bitch for the next hour. And be grateful that we had this chat and I didn't just let a wheel spin for 9 minutes of my time because that was my original plan. Love you all. Have so much fun. Take a deep breath. It is just a game, and we'll all giggle at the end. And it'll be such a good time.
Bye, Rachel. All right, next up. Drum roll. Hello, Al, can you hear us?
Mm-hmm.
All right, your time starts when you start speaking.
I'm so sorry. My YouTube stream was a little delayed, so I thought Rachel was still talking. My apologies. I was like, that's so weird. Seb is bringing me in while Rachel's talking. That's so uncomfortable. Like, maybe let's not do that. Cool beans. So, in exciting news for the three of you, I, and like pretty much everyone else, am not mad at any of you yet. So let's see how that goes for us all. Here's the thing, my memory is garbage. And if I had any inkling that I was gonna leave the night I left, I would have taken notes of like my chats and like things that were said. Because like I know that the three of you had different games, just couldn't tell you how. And I can't tell anybody else how because I don't know. I'll see it in my chats later if there's unlocked. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know how distortion runs. On here, it's very questionable how things are going to turn out. Not like distortion is questionable, just like I have questions and they haven't been answered yet. Speaking of questions, hi, I'm here to ask questions. So let's continue. First question I'd like to ask. If you had won Billy's Big Brother, You know, throwing that comp is probably my biggest regret of the game. Obviously, I knew it was dead people, like barrel-aged dead people come. That, like, I obviously knew that. And wrote down something else. But yeah, throwing that comp was a mistake, but like you don't win 3 in a row. That's stupid. But then you also don't put me on the block. But never mind, that's not you three. I have 3 of you. Who would you have put on the block? Billy's big brother. Go.
Like I said during our call the round before you left, I would have targeted Trevor, and I also would have nominated Wesley because I knew he was going to put me on the block if he won. Which he
I would
did.
have. So sorry. I would have put up Wesley and Esteban as they were 2 of the people that were the furthest away from me in terms of my game and what I wanted to do moving forward in my game.
At that point, I would have nominated Wesley and Trevor. Trevor is somebody that I'd been pushing out of that alliance spot with Nick, and I knew Wesley was the easy option there, just to get the least amount of blood on my hands.
Cool. Nick, just an FYI, would have nominated you and Trevor, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Continuing. That has nothing to do with how I'm voting tonight, just by the way. Just thought if we're
I
all
mean,
sharing, might
if
as
you want to
well.
nominate, maybe vote my way. I'm okay with that.
Fine.
See, the thing is with Billy's big brother, you had 2, so I don't. It's different. Also, because everybody in this game lies a little bit to everybody, and tells different people that they have different plans, and none of those plans are really ever fully the truth. How did I fit into each of your plans moving forward, if I had stayed past Billy's big brother? Also, I would just like to say really quickly, I don't blame any of you. I mean, Cam, you couldn't vote for me, but like Morgan and Nick, I don't blame you for voting for me. I like if I wasn't me and was voting, I also would have voted for me. So there's like no bad blood there. I was very sad, very, very sad for like 18 hours, and then I was magically fine. I stopped crying and I've been fine since. So continuing, what were your plans? Like, how did I fit into your plans moving forward?
For me personally, you were somebody I was so close with. I did not want you to go home, period, in that moment. Like, I thought Wesley winning was like the golden ticket. Like, I was gonna survive, period. And then you didn't. Oh my God. And like me, we can, whatever happened later in the season, me fake crying, that was me real crying. I literally was like sobbing for no reason. It was really incredible. But for me in the game, I wanted you close with me. That's why I kept informing you about things that people were trying to keep you out of. Did I want you in the final 3 based on what people had been saying? No. But I trusted you, and I wanted you to stay longer. Like maybe like a final 5 teas, maybe final 4 if you want immunity at 5.
If I'm being 100% honest with you, the vibes of you potentially targeting me sometime soon did cross my mind a time or two. And I knew that as much as I wanted to keep you in the game, that wasn't going to be a feasible possibility for me at that point in time. So if Nick gets his way 100% in that scenario, you probably would have gone right after Billy's big brother.
For me, I feel like this is trickier because I did really want to go very deep with you in this game. And I knew that you were another person that was also looking towards voting out Trevor, hence the call that we had right before Billy's big brother round. So I was thinking around the time, because I just wanted to have a final, I think it would have been final 5, because I had the final 4, like myself, Esteban, Nick, and Morgan, that I had been wanting for quite a while. So I think 5th place would have been where I would have wanted you to go, but with so much peace and love.
Perfect. 5th place is, I mean, it's where I started in Distortion, might as well be where I end. I appreciate that none of you pandered there and were like, oh, I want to take it, because I know that's a lie. Like, be serious. But I what did I want to say? Unclear. I think that mm, switching on the 9 swap. Like, I've been talking about that since the swap, and it never happened. Is that because y'all thought that the easiest way to the end was with the sunsets, and with this is like starting early, like before there was really a big discrepancy in numbers? Why was the 9 so, or why was however many there were left, why was that so important? I know there's not time for you to properly answer this question. I've just now thought of it. So
For me, it didn't really become something that I really thought about until the discrepancy in numbers got that big. And I quickly realized that where I was in this and on the tribe, I would have the easiest time making it to the end if only Sunset was there.
I'm in the same boat where like once it became so apparent after the swap that like the numbers were dwindling down, it was like, okay, I'm in a good position in this. Why would I screw it up? Like, obviously, it's not something that I planned for, that like, oh, this 9 is just going to keep winning challenges and then voting out these other people. But it's hard to pass up that opportunity if it works well for you.
Yeah, coming into this game, I wasn't really expecting to like work all the way with a group of 9 that started in a tribe together, and I don't think any of us actually thought that that would happen. So like why I realized it was beneficial for me was because I knew that I had insulation from a lot of angles in that trip. So I feel like with working with that group, I knew that I would be safe for a good amount of time, which was proven right with the fact that I didn't get votes until very late in the game. So I'd say, like, other than my very strong connection with Rachel, that's really why I stuck with the 9.
perfect. And Seb, I think that's Seb. There are 2 distortion prods that.
Yeah, it's
Yes, it's time for me to leave.
unfortunately.
Ugh, what a bummer. At least I knew what my time was this time. Yeah. Good luck to you 3. We'll see how this goes. I have no idea how this is gonna go. Genuinely couldn't fucking tell you. So we'll see. Bye,
All right,
friends.
thank you, Al.
Yes. Bye.
All right, let me just double check. I'm not being stupid. Yes, your next juror. Wesley, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
All right, your time starts when you start speaking.
So I'm going to give you guys as much cheating info as I got this entire game, so close your eyes. The CS instruction, I'm asking for a task. Okay. I want you to raise your hand if you think this juror is leaning towards voting you. Jacob. Chris O. Chris B. Lyndon. Alex. I believe Rachel. I believe next will be Al. Me. I believe next is Trevor and Esteban. So you were all, I'll just give you this, that you were all very hesitant with almost every hand raise you guys had. You can open your eyes now. I'm not going to give you guys too much time. I know other relevant here, but just a few minor questions. Okay, Morgan. If by some miracle the shot in the dark worked, what was the plan for like 5 onwards? Did it just cut me at 5 or?
The plan was still to cut you at 5. And then Trevor would be voted out there. That was why we got Esteban to throw the vote on Trevor there. And then you go at 5, put Esteban at 4 still.
Okay, got it. I think I had just okay. I don't really have much more to ask here. But this game has been kind of a whole mess of bad feelings for everyone. I'm glad you guys had a good time you did, but best of luck to y'all, and may the best person win.
And Wesley left. Okay. Didn't even see him leave. Okay, with that, we are with the next juror. All right, Trevor, could you hear us?
I can.
All right, your time starts when you start speaking.
All right, wipe the smiles off your faces, boys and girls. We're gonna get into it. Got a lot of questions, so I don't know what order we're going in. All right, Nick, who made the plans post-merge? Was it you and me? Was it you and Morgan? Was it Morgan and Cam? Was it Benji? Who was it?
I would say up until your vote, it was both a combination of you and me and you and Morgan. I'd say at your vote specifically was Morgan and Cam, and then after that was the 3 of us just voting Esteban.
Can you try again?
Do you want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I don't care. After I was voted right, I don't care what happened.
So my entire dynamic in this game was ensuring that you and Morgan could get along through me, because my ultimate goal in this game was always to get both of you to the end with me. Obviously, Morgan kind of went off the rails a little bit and schemed with Cam to get you voted out. That I had no idea about, obviously. As you could see with the collateral, that wasn't collateral. With my attitude and the way I went about after your vote, I do think the majority of the game, I would say up until the Linden vote, was me and Morgan. And then after the Linden vote was more so me and you.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm probably done with you, but we'll see. Real quick, what the heck? Morgan, how long were you planning on trying to get me out? Because you and Cam both saying you were going to nom me is crazy. When were you two coming for me and why?
For me, the thing with Nick is Nick would always talk so highly of your relationship. And if I'm sitting in an end spot where Nick has to make a decision between you and myself, that's not good for Morgan. Like, and so I had been trying to push that through the entire tribe, really, that you guys were a duo, you needed to be separated. Hopefully at Billy's Big Brother, you guys would get nominated together. That never happened. But it was always in the works in my mind that in order to secure Nick on Team Morgan, Trevor had to go.
All right. Cam, I have a question. I just want a yes or no. I don't need more than that. Do you think you were a threat in this game because you're a winner?
No.
Okay. I was curious. I was gonna make a joke. If you said yes, I was gonna be like, Cam, I don't care if you won the Danimal sweepstakes with Zach and Cody. Okay? I don't care. But you said no, so it's not as funny. All right. Cam, an issue I'm having with you specifically. Oh, also it's okay. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, congrats, you guys made it because it's hard making it this far. Sorry. So you say you slid under the radar, in one of your previous answers, something to that effect. So was it your goal to make it look like you were sliding under the radar, or are you only here because you knew Morgan and Nick pregame?
Oh no, I never considered pregame in anything. My plan was always to slide under the radar a little bit because my thing is with timing is always everything in this game. I know that when you do time things perfectly, then it works out, which is why I took the shot at you when I did at the right time. So no, nothing in this game for me was anything pregame because if it was, then I would have stuck with Jacob, who I literally met up with around like days before the game started, and I would have worked a lot harder with Lyndon, who I am like really close friends with.
So what's my time?
4 minutes, 44 seconds.
Okay. Morgan, would you say that Cam took the shot at me? Because that's what Cam just said. Would you say that? Or would you say you took the shot?
I think Cam needed me in that moment, and Cam wasn't convincing me of anything. Cam was somebody that obviously I didn't view as somebody that was doing much in the game. And so keeping Cam, despite being a winner or having social relationships, despite not really doing much, was fine for me over you, who I knew was working so closely with Nick the entire time.
All right. Morgan, real quick. I'm hearing two different things. I'm hearing one answer you're saying, I'm sorry I treated you people this way. And the next answer I'm hearing, I regret nothing and I deserve your vote. Can you make the math work for me? Because I'm getting some, hang on, this is gonna be funny. I'm getting some problems when I'm trying to do the math.
Bye. Do I regret how I came off to people or things that I said? Sure, but that doesn't take away from the game that I played in my mind. So I'm like separating those two just like I did.
All right. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about, but I got like 3 minutes left. I'm gonna be real. Because I always whenever I've been in the finals, I've always appreciated jurors that are honest. People are not happy because you three specifically were like had a relationship before the game as friends, and the term friend rival has been thrown around. I know that wasn't necessarily how things went, but I want 20. Give me like a 2 sentence answer of how you use relationships, new relationships in this game to your benefit. I want 2 sentences. I don't care who goes first.
I did not know Rachel at all until this game, but I had a very, very, very close connection to her. And the same thing goes along with Esteban, who is somebody that I also had met for the first time in this game, and we had a very close connection.
All right. Next.
For me, the number one was Al. Al is somebody I've never met in this game and somebody I grew really close to and leaned on a lot just as a friend in this game. So that was like my comfort.
Nick?
Me and Trevor didn't talk prior to this game, and Trevor was the one person I wanted to take to the end of this game.
Okay. It said, what's my time?
1 minute, 51 seconds.
Okay. I want to say real quick, just so that I say it. Morgan, I didn't take anything personally. I was just upset because I was on a 2-hour phone call with you, and I literally made a cheat sheet for the Final Four immunity, and neither of you fucking morons won that comp. Like, good lord. Guys. Come on. What are we doing? And I literally was like, guys, maybe we should vote Cam up because Cam's gonna win the comp. And what'd Cam do? Well, it's been a fun ride. I got like a minute left. There's one thing I'm talking about. Do I need anything from you guys? Oh, let's do this. Let's say you three are the jurors, and you need to vote for someone to win. Who are you voting? I don't want a why. I just want a name.
Morgan.
No. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. you threw the jurors, and
Oh,
there's
got you in the jurors are got
yes,
you. Rachel.
sorry.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Literally.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Sorry, everyone else, but Rachel, like the.
Dan, you all just lost my vote. Like, I'm begging for a compliment, and
I meant Trevor. I definitely meant Trevor. I
Oh,
definitely meant
okay.
Trevor. I'm voting for Trevor. Who said that? Who said Rachel?
No. But it's been fun, guys. That's probably my time. I was gonna be like, I was gonna do this thing where I joined, and I was like, you guys hear that? That's silence. That's what I heard when I left that Zoom call. But that was like, that's not fun. But that would have been funny. So am I at time yet? Do I need to stop talking?
Wait,
Literally, Isha from the
Wait.
other room said yes. I need to stop talking.
and time
So
is off. Time is
I
up.
gotta listen to the misses. All right, good luck, you three, and please have a non-scripted closing statement. All right, bye.
All right, just give me one moment. All right, just give me one quick second.
You know what they say? What about that airline food?
Next juror. Lyndon, can you hear us?
I can now.
All right, your time starts when you start speaking.
Guys, we're outside on the street. I'm ready to go. Hello, you three. I'm on my way home as we book and talk. Let's go. I have kind of missed a lot of this, but I think one of my favorite questions that I've ever stolen from somebody to ask, is what is the one question you haven't been asked that you really want to be asked and you really want to answer? Go alphabetical.
Damn, am I allowed to have time to think about my because I think a question is I feel like a question that I would want to be asked is I'm so bad at thinking of questions. Like it even takes me days to think of questions. I'd say like something that a person, my question I was hoping I'd be asked is like who I feel like who I regret voting out the most. And like I feel like just due to circumstances and the way that I like went about the vote and like the way that we had talked like very early on in the game, I feel like that was Alex for me, because of the fact that I did make a lot of promises to him that I was going to ride it out all the way for him and ride it all the way with him. But I ultimately did not do that because of threat level and I just wanted to apologize to like Alex, like on a personal level.
Okay, so I'm next, alphabetical. I had to do the calculations on that. Honestly, coming into tonight, I just really wanted, this is gonna sound so stupid because it's been so serious, but I really wanted some of those questions that are like, relate your relate your game to an animal or something and like get to describe it. It sounds so stupid, but like I was really wanting something to like lift the mood because I knew it was gonna be a rough evening. And so I was really hoping for some more things like that because those are creative and you can really get to describe game, but also mix it and make it fun. So that's what I was really looking forward to. But I should have known better than
I was looking forward to a question along the lines of what was your favorite thing about this game on a non-game level? Like, what is something that happened in this game on a non-game level that was your favorite? And for me, that was the calls and just any call I had that was not game related with somebody. Talking about calls with Trevor, with Cam, with Morgan, with Rachel, calls where I could just goof off and be, for lack of a better term, a dumb bitch, because that's what I like to do when I'm not playing these games. That's who I am as a person when I'm not playing these games, is just silly, goofy, dumb bitch who does not give a fuck. And I felt at times in this game I could be that in moments, and that's when I felt my best.
Morgan, I want you to answer it.
Okay, I totally forgot that we had to answer the question. So for me, I think the animal that I related to the most for my game was a chameleon. I really tried to like fit in with people, whether they were on this side of things, on that side of things, just to get as much information and maintain safety. So chameleon.
How much time do I have?
4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, I am completely not bitter at all because I understand that I just like disappeared for a week because life got fucking insane. So I have no like bitterness, but I would like you all to compliment me just for a minute because who doesn't want that? Thank you. You can go reverse of alphabetical this time.
Perfect. You are the owner of the best object, not even an object because it's alive, the best thing I have ever seen in my entire life. And just being the owner of that sweet baby child puts you above, leagues above anybody else in my books.
He bit me today and made my finger bleed violently. Just so you know.
And by that I mean sometimes he is temperamental, and that's okay, because that's the job of a pet parent, is to deal with the temperamental moments, and I applaud you for doing that.
Okay, Lyndon, you are somebody who, like, coming into this, we didn't have like the strongest one-on-one relationship outside of this. We've known each other, we've played some games here and there, but getting to the swap portion and getting to have that call with you, I had a freaking ball, us sitting there talking for like however many hours about like the most nonsense, like finding AI celebrities that are like somehow in movies but like don't have a page to go to, but it says they have a page to go to. So like, what, question mark? That is one of my favorite experiences, like from very early on. And you're just an amazing person. You really are.
Lyndon, I mean it full-heartedly when I say you are one of my favorite people in the world. Like, I'm not even just saying that because we've been like so close for so freaking long, and like we haven't played a game together in like a long time. So like when I saw your cast video, I was so excited because I knew that we'd have some good funny goofy laughs as we always do. And like again, I do say it, like you are genuinely like somebody I consider one of my closest friends in this org community, and you know that. And like, I just like love every conversation we have, and like, I just love you so much.
Okay, I love all three of you. Thank you very much for your time. I'm gonna go disappear back into the abyss now. Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, Lyndon. Lyndon, could you leave the call, please? Sorry. I know I feel so awkward when I ask them. Thank you. All right, and with that, that is all the jury questioning. So with that, let me get my stuff up. All right. As earlier, it went Cam, Morgan, Nick. So to start closings, it will be Nick. Again, you have 5 minutes. Nick, your time starts when you start speaking.
Much to Trevor's excitement, I don't have my closing statement read out. I do have bullet points though that I just want to get through before I really talk about the big chunk of this. I want to have one last thank you to production. If not anybody knows how much blood, sweat, and tears go into this game and what it's like to create a game that is as exceptional as this one is. I love each and every one of you so much, and you all mean the world to me. And to the players, I just wanted to give one last from like production, Nick. This couldn't have been made possible without you. Truly, it couldn't have. I love all of you. I know I wasn't anywhere near perfect in this game, but I need you all to understand that my heart was always in this game. There wasn't a single moment in this game where I didn't want this win more than anything I've ever wanted in an org. I will also want to take this time to apologize to, I've apologized to Crispy, Chris, and Jacob. I want to continue to apologize to them, but I also would like to apologize to Rachel and Esteban, who are people that I feel I have like genuinely wronged. Like I have wronged the other three, but I feel like it was on a more personal level to the two of them. So for that, I would like to apologize. A point Chris O made was that he wanted to let everybody play the game fully. And as much as I understand that, and as much as I would have loved to, I don't think I sit here if I let everyone play this game fully. I don't think any of the three of us sit here if any of us let everyone play this game fully. And I can understand how that is frustrating, but I truly in my being feel that about myself. Moving on from that, I feel like this game has been a very full circle moment for me. I started this game in season 3, like I said prior, and I didn't make it there, but it's so much more than just making it here this time. It's the fact that I was on prod for as long as I was on prod for, and I was able to come onto All Stars and do exactly what I set out to do. This game and the community that this game has built for me is more than I can put into words. Before I started playing orgs, I was not the nicest person, and sadly some of you guys caught some of that through this game, and I wish I would have gone with that differently. Win or lose, I still do feel really, really horrible for the way I treated some of you. But this game particularly allowed me to explore happiness in a way that I didn't know I could, allowed me to explore friendship in a way that I didn't know I could, and just allowed me to genuinely be a happier person. Through meeting like some of the hosts and some of the players in seasons, in this season and seasons prior, I just genuinely do not think my life would be the same had I not played this game. With that being said, winning this game means more to me than anything. I am at peace if I lose. However, winning means the world to me. And it's like is kind of hypocritical in itself. But I know that I am sitting next to two people who did their damnedest to get here just as much as I have. So when I say I'm at peace, that is what I mean. These are two people who have done everything in their power to get here. With that being said, I love both of them so much, but I feel like I deserve this. I feel like I am somebody who has constantly in this game throughout the seasons I was on production and in my last game put my all into this game, put my all into this season, put my all into this series. And if you could be so kind enough to reward me with a win, I would very much appreciate it. If you could reward me with your vote, I very much appreciate it. I love all of you so much regardless. Vote for me, vote for Morgan, vote for Cam, whatever the case may be. I love all of you. Thank you.
All right. Same with you, Morgan. Your time starts when you start speaking.
Sorry, I forgot we agreed to go off camera during, but this is not the night that I expected to have. I expected so much more bitter, and I was so nervous coming into tonight because I knew that the game I played was really cold, and I still got the brunt of it. Don't get me wrong, I'm still dealing with that, and I knew I would be. I'm not a nasty, vitriolic person by nature, and in this game, I just really had to do it for myself. Everything that I did was selfish by intention. I needed to get here, and I needed to be able to say at the end that I deserve to be here. I deserve to be an all-star, and I deserve to be the winner of all-stars. And I think that I did that throughout the game. I'm gonna hate to lose if I do lose, but at the end of the day, I got to be an all-star, and I'm gonna rejoice at the end no matter what. I'm very thankful for this production. I've told you countless times how much this means to me. It's such a funny story how it all just so happened to come to be for me. And now I have so many great friends, so many great people that I've met. And I wouldn't change it. None of it. I'm very thankful at the end of the day. And I hope that people can see my game as something that deserves to win, because I still feel that way. I still feel very strongly about my game. So I'll release my time.
All right. And Cam, your time starts when you start speaking.
I also have bullet points. I didn't write a whole speech for my closing statements, but I do want to start by saying that Distortion is a very, very, very important game to me. It is what got me back into the org community. It is my second win that I ever got in an org. And like, I met so many amazing people throughout this experience, including this season, because I've just enjoyed every single time that I've played. So I had so many goals coming into this season that I wanted to achieve. And I truly believe that I achieved every single one of those. My first goal, I mentioned it many times, I wanted to go to Rocks this season to show how ballsy I was as a player. I did that. I wanted to be the first person in Distortion history to merge 3 times. I did that. I wanted to make it past Final 8, to have Final 8 still be my only low placement, quote unquote low placement, because 8th is still good. But I did that. I wanted to survive Billy's big brother, because that's how I left in season 2. Not only did I do that, but I did that unanimously. I wanted to make Final 4. Final 4 was a huge milestone for me. I did that as well. And winning that specific final individual immunity, the only regret that I had from season 7, I did that. I studied this game hardcore. I had notes upon notes about every single vote that happened, every single word that's been said. I memorized it all and got that immunity win on my first tribe. Now I'm the first and only 2-time finalist, and I have made it over 100 days. This is my 101st day in this game. And I did that while always knowing where every single vote was, almost every single vote was going. I knew everybody's play, or for the most part. And I also did that while not receiving a single vote until Final 5, which my last record was Final 6 without a single vote. This time it was Final 5. And I made sure that my timing was perfect. You may have seen me as under the radar at the start, but I blossomed into the place that I'm at right now with the exact Final 4 that I want from a very early point in the game. And I would like to thank each and every single person that played this season, because this is such a huge season. All Stars is the season to play. And none of this happens without any of you. And I'm glad to have met many new friends and cannot wait to talk to so many of you after this season. Best of luck to Nick and Morgan. And I will yield the rest of my time. Thank you so much for having me back.
All right. And with that, congratulations. The three of you have survived the final tribal council of Distortion Survivor All Stars. We are going to give the jurors we'll give them, based on my timers, I'll give them the 14 minutes and 44 seconds from the Golden Gates timer I still have left over. And that is the time they had to vote. I will resend the link to the jurors and the pre-jurors. And once we get all the votes, then we will reveal who has won. And in the meantime as well, we are live in the VL. So if you want to make shout outs, now's the time.
Shout out to Victoria, who had just said that she's going to make a song called I Did That just because of my final speech.
Shout out to God, but also Jesus. Also, shout out to Zach and Mac for continuously putting up with my bullshit in my prod chat. I love you both so much.
Period. Shout out, you know what? Shout out the dolls. Shout out the dolls. Those are the baddest bitches I ever did know. So shout out to all of them. And shout out to my podcast who actually came through towards the end of the season. Love y'all, Adam and David. Y'all better get active right at Final 5.
Get active. I'm just kidding.
Bye.
No matter what happens, I love you both so much.
Likewise, I'm about to get fucking fried. Is this live? Oh, it is. So, me literally does a full like outfit change.
Wait, was I muted the whole shout out that Are you kidding?
All right.
No,
So
you
since
weren't
since there are jurors and pre-jurors here, jurors, just to note, I don't feel like I should have to say this, but some people might not. Do not talk about who you voted for in the call. I feel like that's just common, but I wanted to make sure. But yeah, I'll be back.
As I said, check the project.
Don't tell me what to do, but yeah.
I can't wait till after this vote's revealed where you can stop disliking me as a player and start caring about me as a human, because I love you all.
Wait, seriously, was my whole shout out on mute?
Yeah.
No.
No,
So-
the shout out for Victoria. No, that was
Okay.
good.
Okay. Okay.
So on a serious note, guys, I do want to say, like, just before we get to this vote count, I appreciate all of you for taking the time and putting so much effort into this series and so much into this. This has been going on for multiple years now, all the way back from Hidden Temple, all the way through every season that we've hosted, even the Forbidden season, one might call it. That could have been the end of Distortion as it is, but a lot of you guys had the faith and kept it going and literally allowed us to host after what some would consider is a series-ending incident. I've seen multiple series go down because of shit like that. But you guys supported us, kept us up, whether you guys were players, alumni, or just curious viewers. So without you guys, this season doesn't happen. So I just want to say to the viewers, specifically the viewers, you are all stars in my eyes.
And
So,
me,
I-
Morgan, and Cam's, this would never happen without you.
Oh no, without
Do we get a
you-
monologue after too?
Oh, I'll give all three of you your monologue, but
Thank
in
you.
the terms of in the terms of time, I'll be quick. Um, or I can just give you all your monologues now beforehand without just revealing what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah.
that's totally up to you guys.
We all had so many monologues.
I
Stop.
feel like
So okay, then I'll start in alphabetical order. So Cam, the fact that you literally won this game and was the most recent winner, and to make it all the way back here again, kind of just shows. I know it's not about winning games or whatever. I know that's not what it is, but at the end of the day, that is an additional obstacle that you had to overcome compared to other people. And genuinely, like, I can't speak game because obviously the vote hasn't been revealed, but that is impressive within itself. I will say that genuinely your prod chat was one of the few that I wanted to go wake up every morning and just say, "Hey, what did Cam talk about tonight? What ramblings did Cam go in and say? Oh my God, do I like this? Do I like that?" But seriously, Cam, I really appreciated you coming back and doing this for a third time. Some people are saying to do it twice, but you were absolutely asinine to do it a third. Okay, so Morgan, now it's your turn. Morgan, after a sick idle out in what could have been a winning run in Heatwave, you decided to come back and play with us and grace your presence with us again and showed us that without advantages, you can make it to the end. But on a serious note, the way I loved your video confessionals this season, you literally like were one of the few people who actually did video confessionals and did prod confessionals when we would literally ask. So again, we really do appreciate those because we did get a ton of insight into your game when that happened. Genuinely, I think a lot of personal things on the side. I'm not going to say them out loud, but genuinely great person, great human, love you to death, even though we haven't had that much communication before this. And then here's the longest spiel, and it's going to go to Nick Watson, who I've known for what now, 2020 at this point. Considering my second org, we went to a final two together, and they still hold it over my head. When you've been one of my closest friends in the org community, whether or not you have been either on my side against me or just around. You've been there for me in all my ups and downs, whether it was me making FTC 4 times and losing and you supporting me there, whether it was me getting thrown off Trinity Prod by a video message, whether it was the Republic falling apart.
sorry about that one. Sorry about that one. R.I.P. guys.
On a serious note, the fact that you did come into this game as a former production member, which can literally put a target on your back because you have all those relationships with previous players. I was genuinely amazed to see you back at this point, especially with the debacle of getting cut for third last time. I bet you're super happy it was a final 3 this time.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, genuinely, I have a lot of love for this final 3. I know this FTC probably wasn't the nicest thing in the world, but at the same time, it's just a game, guys. I know all the jurors respect game. And at this point, I think Seb's ready to go. I hope that'll be a pretty sick segue.
I love Billy Vance so much.
I was muted when I said in the chat. I said I was here the whole time, but I'm Billian.
Seb is not ready.
That's what I thought. Okay. But also shout out to our pre-jurors. I know obviously this isn't what you wanted, but at the same time, you guys did come back for us, especially like even Jared all the way back from season 1, taking that like almost 3-year hiatus. Mikey, a former winner. I don't know what other pre-jurors are here because I can't see everybody right now. I'm on my phone. But
that's literally it.
So either way, happy for all of you guys to be here, be a part of the season. But genuinely, after the season, I'm taking a nice ass nap. And I'm not talking to any of you because I am tired of all your bullshit. We do have some pretty cool awards to give out tonight too, so please stay around for that and everything. We might have some surprises also, so keep that in mind as well.
Also, pre-jury mentioned. Hell
I'll
yeah.
shout out after show as well.
Pre-jurors.
B and LJ.
Woo.
You guys absolutely killed the game doing that. If you haven't got your post-game interview yet, please get it set up because they definitely have been trying. And some of you guys have been very inactive, staring right at Mikey.
Get your ex. He's doing.
I have 2 jobs. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Things
Girl,
about,
it's been like 3 weeks.
things about Mikey 17th Ruby.
Literally.
Ah,
No,
17
like
is my lucky number.
Flocky.
Shut up.
Flocky if you're nasty.
I think
I got some words about that I'll save for reunion though.
Oh,
yeah. So Esteban, after the post game interview, the two people, LJ and B, will come to your chat and just kind of be like, "Hey, would you like to talk about the game with us and all that jazz?"
Did they ask? Call them asking me that actually, sincerely.
Honestly, they might not have. They've been very busy.
They just got to me like 2 days ago.
I was about to say they've been
So-
very busy with like
And
LJ
Billy
and
wanted to
Anthony
call
for-
me out. That's crazy.
Well,
Like I know it's
'cause
been a long time for me. but
well-
damn.
Well, no, I got voted out like a week and a half ago.
But
Mike,
I
it's
am
been,
not
like,
the
almost
only
a month
one who
for you.
hasn't done it.
Mikey, it's been like almost 3 weeks for you. Let's not downplay
I
it.
have
Okay,
no
but I'm
sense of
not the
time,
only
so I
one.
could have been.
Shut
Seb's
up,
here.
Seb's here.
Oh, Seb's here. Ugh.
Subcheck.
Damn, what the hell? Anyways, not the point. I just want to reiterate, and I'm gonna try not to cry. I've been through countless prod teams and countless games, and to be able to host this game with the love of my life and Grace. No, I'm just kidding. I love Grace so much, and it was 2.5 years ago. We sat in her bedroom, and I said, I want to host a Survivor game, and I want to just do something with my friends. And I'm so thankful for every prod member, past, present, future, that has helped us through this journey, and has really put us here. I especially want to thank the prod members for this season, Jen and Benji, for just being a light, and Billy, of course, who's been sticking it out with us since day one. Oh, sorry, let me get the neck tilt. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I'll go into my spiel on the final three, but I am just so thankful that we were able to even accumulate a cast of 20 players, previous players, to come back and play this game. It's been a dream of mine to host a returnee season, and I got that in timeline, and then it's a dream again to be able to come here and host this season for you guys. That being said, I have the votes. You want to see your names on these parchments. Unfortunately, there has been 0 shot in the darks played this round. So I'll get right into it. First vote. Morgan. Second vote. Nick. Third vote. Cam. Fourth vote. Nick. Fifth vote. Cam. Sixth vote. Morgan. We are tied. 2 votes Nick, 2 votes Morgan, 2 votes Cam. Seventh vote. Cam. Eighth vote. Cam. Ninth vote. And the winner of Distortion Survivor All-Stars and our first ever 2-time winner, Cam. Congratulations, Cam. It has been, and as you said earlier, this was your first game back into the community, and I'm so glad to be able to host you and become friends through this. And never in my wildest year, no offense to the other winners who played, but I never thought we were going to see a 2-time winner. Sorry, I know all the winners could boo me. But I am so glad, like I'm so thankful that you came into this game with your heart as always and you stuck it out. Not to ignore the other two, Nick, final three in season 3. I still feel bad about it. My heart feels for you. So the fact that you were able to take this spot and come back and get to the final 3, it means a lot. And it means a lot that you even put that trust back into us to come back and play the game. Morgan, you were my winner pick. I am so glad that you came back after being idled out. It's the worst feeling in the world to get idled out. But you came back and you really proved that you could not get idled out, because you literally could not get idled out. That being said, I didn't talk to Prod about this, and I'm just gonna say it now. Nick and Morgan, since you both got 2 votes, I will personally buy one of you a buff, since you both technically got second and third. So Cam, we will go through the frustrating process that we went through last time to get you your money and your buff. Nick and Morgan, we will get you your buffs as well.
All I'm going to say is this. I didn't want Cam to win because now I have to go through PayPal again.
That was the worst experience
Freaking Canadians ruining everything.
I know. Why can't they just get something normal?
Build the wall.
Okay, no more of that. We had enough of that during the season.
But that being said,
clip that.
That being said, I am so thankful for each and every single one of you, whether it's Prod, Actor Show, a player, former Prod, former player, first boot, any person who's watching this and has experienced and has been a part of the Distortion atmosphere. I could not be thankful enough. This has been quite literally me and Grace's child, and we've really done everything we can. And as Billy mentioned, I sincerely wanted to leave the community after not Heat Wave. Oh my God. After Quarter Quell. And I literally had no energy whatsoever. And I'm just super thankful for the Prod members who were on Prod at that time that were kind of just like, tell them to fuck off and go host another season. Because without that, we would not be here. Yes, Alex, be safe.
Yeah, I was gonna fucking say, when you said Heat Wave, I was like, Heat Wave was the fucking issue?
No,
Really?
Heat Wave is not the issue. I want to thank you guys. Obviously, we'll get more into it in the reunion. I know this was a frustrating season for some of you, and we will talk about it. But I'm just so thankful. And if any of those issues were Prod, you could definitely come to Prod, and we would definitely take that critiques. That being said, Grace has something to share.
Well, before that, and I'll get into my thoughts later. Let's hear from our winner.
Yes.
If y'all told me I was coming into this season winning, I would have laughed in your fucking faces. Straight up. Holy fuck. I never thought I'd ever say that I won the same word twice. Thank you so much for the votes, and thank you to production for having me back. Oh my God. I really don't know what to say.
Okay. Nick and Morgan, do y'all have any words? Whoever go first, whoever. Anything y'all want to say?
Since my second vote was revealed first, I'll go first. I'm so happy for you, Cam. I'm so fucking happy for you. I'm so proud of you. To all of the jury, I still love every single one of you, and I would love to have multiple, many conversations with every single one of you. I'm sorry that me being a little bitch and not being able to be man enough to talk to people kind of like ruined my game, and I just hope that it didn't ruin my relationships with a lot of you outside of this game.
That was iconic. I don't mind losing because I get to tie for second, so that's fine. They got me in the first half thinking it was going to be third place. That was so sad. Much love to everyone. Obviously, I fully changed during. I had a feeling something told me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Esteban in the beginning saying exactly what was going to happen. But you know what? Work, Diva. I'm fine with it. I'm just getting high as fuck now. So see y'all at the reunion.
Awards time, baby.
Alrighty, well, before we get into awards, because everybody got Seb got to say what he and Billy did as the other co-founder to this series, and I talked to every single one of you the first Zoom call that we had for this season. I just could reiterate what they were saying. Thank y'all just so much for just putting up with us. Like, we literally, like what Seb was talking about, who knew that back in, it was March of 2022, and me and Seb were sitting there entertaining the idea beforehand, but we had so much fear and doubt about wanting to host a game and wanting to get back into the hosting scene due to things that happened to him and due to things that have happened to me when it came to being on production teams. There was just a lot of trauma that was associated with it. But me and him, we used our love together and gained our confidence that we knew that we could have. We got together, put this game on, grabbed Billy at the very beginning, and Hidden Temple Mysteries began, and we kept going and going. But then we hit our roadblock with Quarter Quell. But I'm going to also piggyback off of what Seb also said. We would have not been here had it not been for all of y'all and literally this whole org community. That time it was just such a dark place because it felt like we were not a legitimate prod team anymore. We canceled a season. Look, our biggest fear has come to life in that moment, and just seeing the encouragement from all of you here during that time, seeing the encouragement from like other prod teams as well, because there were people on other production teams that were like, y'all, you have a good thing going for y'all. Like, don't let this stop y'all. Keep going. And that is what we did. And that's when we got back on running, began Heat Wave, and continued to push those seasons, got our first fraternity season, and finally got to every org's dream, which is making it to All-Stars. And we made it to the end here, and we're here partying for the rest of the night. I'm just kidding, no, but we're here partying for a while. We're gonna get some awards done. We're gonna get the reunion all sorted out. I'm gonna get my Mike's lemonade during the reunion. And we're gonna have some fun, y'all, and we're gonna talk all the tea. But again, thank y'all so much. It means absolutely everything that you guys all came together, played the season. So everybody who watched and supported us throughout these whole 2.5 years, thank y'all. And everybody, yeah, all y'all are amazing. So who's ready to win some prizes, meaning the awards?
I want to lead the cast in saying thank you, Prod, for doing all of this. We love you.
Yes. Much love.
Freaking teacher's pet. 2 seasons in a row.
Bye. Bye.
All right.
This is literally the only thing I do.
I'm gonna screen share as always, and I need permission. Hold on. Let me grab my. I'm gonna grab my charger for my laptop real quick.
Asking a man for permission in
Yeah,
this year?
Billy,
I was
I
literally
swear
gonna
to-
make the exact same joke. Great fear
Billy-
independent women who don't need no man.
Billy, I swear to God, he types faster than me. He steals phrases out of my mouth. It's the most annoying thing in the world. Every time one of you would ask a question and I would start typing, Billy, halfway through the sentence, Billy would answer it.
Billy
Billy
already
pops
have
up
a
out of
response.
nowhere. It's a whole fucking thing. It's my whole character arc. Billy popping up out of nowhere.
I just honestly with Discord, it made it so easy to start answering you guys much quicker. If you've noticed, I answered a lot of your questions within 30 seconds.
Oh, I also want to shout out for y'all being so. I felt y'all were also, before I share, because I don't see y'all when I say this, y'all were so patient with us. compared to, I feel, other seasons, the way they would have reacted,
Seven.
y'all were so patient with us through all our Discord BS because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing as we were experimenting this for the first time. But yeah, seasons come, we are definitely going to be using the bots.
I have a look-see at somebody in particular.
Which we didn't
Yeah, I
know how
got
to
a couple I can send over to you. I got a couple.
appreciate
Shout
that.
out to the 2 people that voted for me because my biggest fear going into this was that I was going to be a 0 finalist. Love
No,
y'all.
who voted
I
for
love
me?
you.
Who voted for me? Be
I
real.
voted for you, Morgan.
We'll
You're real.
reveal who voted for who later.
Well, I'm asking now. I want to
Well,
know now.
Y'all wanna
we're
know?
answering later.
Well, I already got one. Message
Oh.
me
Joe All
privately.
Stars, so
All right, who's ready for some awards?
I think we did this during the
I have everything
during the
blocked
roundtable,
so y'all
that everyone
can't
will get
see.
at least 2 votes. I was right.
I also ran this slideshow too before the fact, so everything should look fine. So
This
y'all
is
see-
higher quality than the puzzle. This picture,
What puzzle?
like on
Mind you, this is the same
on the
picture.
screen right now. This is higher quality than that puzzle we had as a challenge for about 2 minutes before you were like, "Oh, people on their phones can't do it."
Alrighty, well, we're going to the first award, shall
Just
we?
make sure you
appreciate
guys
you
are
so
make
much.
sure you guys are muted during this, just so we can get through it faster because we do have a shit ton of awards.
And we will
Yes, we
ramble.
Most iconic moment. So we gotta always award our iconic moments for the season, and we do have one that was, I don't think it could be beat, like, at all. And that is, y'all see Staten right here? Well, he got a big old rock his way, having our first ever rock draw for this series. Most iconic thing, us on production, we had been waiting for a rock draw to happen for so long now, and we finally got it.
Literally, from what like Prod was expecting it, like almost all the whole entire round, like both sides were like, I'm not voting anybody for my tribe. That's it. We're going to rocks. And we're like, oh, someone's gonna flip. And then it was like 5 hours for tribal, 3 hours, 2 hours, and we're like, no one's flipping. We're gonna get rocks.
Hot people go out at rocks. So
And
super
I
sexy
will
people do
say-
it multiple times.
For people who weren't at that rock draw, Staten is now the only person to never be voted out of Distortion Survivor. Ever.
Well, I mean, twice. And played twice.
Who played like multiple times, yeah. So that's a cool award to have.
Alrighty, anybody else? Prod, have anything to say?
I mean, it's a rock draw. And I mean, it wasn't just the rocks. It was the in the nicest terms, it was the debates that was happening in between. It was I love some drama, I love some gameplay, and like in between the original vote and the revote, like we got that. We got the drama, we got the arguing, we got what I wanted. So
Alrighty, moving on. God, computers. Best move. So we got a best move of the season. We have to award, and that was Morgan, Cam, and Esteban voted Trevor out at the final 5.
So I want to preface this by saying that a nominee for best move is also Nick saving themselves and Morgan during Billy's Big Brother night, because based on the conversations that started that night, Wesley did seem to want to put up either Nick or Morgan, and Nick was not only able to convince Wesley to go a different direction, but Wesley also was very open with Morgan during that round because of it, letting them know that Nick might be a renom. So that being said, though, this move won best move because it's so intricate. There were so many layers to it. And I mean, the beginning of the round as a prod member wasn't my favorite. I literally had to listen to Morgan fake cry on call for an hour. But once they realized that necklace was not coming off, and quite frankly, because of the multiple hint drops that Morgan and Cam had made throughout the past couple rounds prior about wanting Trevor out, it was easy to get this move rolling. And Trevor was very open in his prod chat about the moves that he was going to speak on at the FTC and how he wanted to play that under the radar game. And it felt like the smartest move at the time. Yeah.
So, two things I want to touch on because I was actually in the room when Nick and Wesley had that conversation. Basically, the way it went was Wesley told Nick they're putting Morgan up, and Nick literally said, "No, bad idea." And Wesley said, "Okay." That's pretty much how it went. So, just for that, and I do think, Nick, you should have touched on that in FTC genuinely because that was probably one of your bigger strategic moves, honestly. But I digress. I will say that we will break down everyone's game later. If you call me, I will break down your game. That's something I'm always good for. Second, this
Please
move was
don't,
really good
Heidi.
for me because I think literally the round before I did a power rankings the entire season of where I ranked everybody. So if you want that later on, we can have that. Trevor, going into this round, you were my number one to win the game because I thought you were going to go to the end with Nick and Morgan. And again, I feel like Nick and Morgan played two similar games where you were able to differentiate a little bit and would have been able to swing some votes, especially from the Rodeos. So this round, I honestly thought Cam was going home, and then it didn't happen that way. So this was definitely the best move because I do feel like you were probably winning in the end, in my opinion, if you got there at 5. If you got to 4, you were going to, again, you literally ran the comp with me at 4 and you easily won by, I think, over 10 minutes. So yeah, I think Trevor did it in literally 8 minutes. But yeah, you would have gotten to the end and you would have won. So keep that up for yourself. But this was the correct move, honestly.
Righty, going on. So we have best move. Every game's got to have their worst too. And worst move of the season.
We already
So,
know it.
huh?
We already know it.
We already know it. You know what? Because you'll just open your mouth. You nominate Al during Billy Thick Brother night and Al going home.
I want to start on this one.
Didn't I get
start?
worst move last time?
Billy, can I start on this?
All right.
So
I
I
think
just
I
wanted
got
to
the worst
say
move
that I just want to say that Al got worst move last season for a move very similar to this, cutting someone who, although maybe a little more powerful than them in the game, was essential to their game keep moving forward. And this is exactly how I feel like this round went. I think obviously like Nick and Morgan and Trevor were in Wesley's ear the whole time. It was very apparent that Wesley was going to put up Cam, like since a few rounds prior, to this, but just nominating Al, someone who like Prod had on, like the perspective we had was that Wesley and Al were a lot closer than other players in the game. And so we were confused about the nom, especially when multiple people prior to leaving the game had told Wesley about the people that they should and should not trust. And I'm going to expose them, but they made a comment during Rites of Passage where they were like, "Oh, Wesley, we love you, but you should have trusted the others when they said we wouldn't work with you." And so that's how I feel right here. And on top of that, you nominating Esteban without prior knowledge and not really the Esteban and Al combination when Nick, Morgan, and Trevor were right there. So that's all I got to say, but Billy's going to speak.
What I'm going to say is, Wesley, I think I understand where your thought process was here because going into a live night is extremely complicated and your emotions are everywhere. And you're going off of the first thing that first person told you. Shout out to Nick for being literally the first person to grab you. But I will say the reason why this is the worst move was because there was so much lack of agency all season, and especially in the merge phase. And this is probably the only time that we could have seen a potential big shift in the game, and it was squandered. Not saying it wasn't like when I say squandered, I don't mean like it was like so egregious to where it sealed the fate. but it did in a way. Like literally, as soon as Wesley put up Esteban and Al, it was kind of like, okay, well, one of them's going home. We're gonna make sure that the final three is the final three that we have here. And I do think if you had a few more minutes to kind of sit by yourself, I think you would have came to that realization, because you did mention in your prod chat a few times that like you knew you were on the bottom of things. So I feel like if you had a few minutes to yourself to kind of self-reflect and be like, okay, this is where I want to do things, it would have looked a lot differently.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, it felt like I do not believe there were 6 minutes in that first stage elimination. It was 3. You just missed with the time. It felt like
No, it was definitely 6. It just
No,
goes by
I
really
literally-
fast.
I'm not being literal here. It just felt like
It
I
just
could
goes by
not-
really fucking fast.
That was a part of my strategy, was to just keep you in that room by myself as long as I could.
Yeah, I know. It just metaphorically, it felt like
Yeah.
yeah. I understand. I feel dumb as fuck, but it was just so stressful getting all the info, like trying to remember like every passing anyone ever told me. Like, what's funny is I was going in with the right noms, but I just fucked up hard.
Let's jump.
Yep, moving on. We have most robbed pre-juror. This was a very upsetting battle because, and I said this before the season started, I genuinely feel all of y'all going was going to be very hurt. Was going to hurt my heart because I love all of y'all so much and I wanted every single one of you to excel and exceed in this game. And it was just so sad watching all y'all get voted out. But these 3 were pretty, they were sad. But one of these people was definitely robbed for sure. So we're going to go ahead and reveal that person. Most robbed pre-juror is it the person who got rocked out or the person who got shot in the dark? It is the person who got shot in the dark.
No, I want
to. Let me start. With
Yes. Go.
So I will say the reason why, and I was fighting for Satan to be this just because it was Rocks, and that just makes sense, right? But Brandon was literally the only rodeo that Sunset wanted to take anywhere. And with Brandon in the game, it would have been a lot more fluid. I promise you that it would have changed a lot of dynamics. But the problem was literally every person Sunset didn't want to make the merge, made the merge. And it made it a lot more one-sided than what should have been expected. Brandon, if you were there and you weren't shot in the dark, you had a bunch of Sunset allies, and you like everything they told you was completely true. They
Oh, I
wanted
know. But Rachel Bestie is my bestie, and we're getting drinks while you're on that cruise. I love her to death. Literally, when I heard Shot in the Dark, I'm like, I'm getting Shot in the Dark out. I knew it.
I was drunk on a train, and I was like, I'm voting out Wesley. Wait, fuck, I don't want to go to Rocks. Fuck.
Yeah, no.
Fuck.
And again,
fuck.
Yeah, and anyways, I don't blame you guys for doing that shit. I try my best. But you know what, Shot in the Dark, it's fucking funny. It takes basically 2 hours to get me out of All-Stars games at this point. So, woo! Love you, Rachel.
Fun fact, I was the first idol because I played it on myself and they all voted me and I didn't have a vote. And so they had to revote and it was a tie. They almost went to Rocks, but then everybody's like, yeah, we're just going to vote Brandon out. I was like, whatever. Well, in that case, I wanted Brandon to stay over the other person, but...
Look, I was not there. It's fine. To the Rodeos who made the merge, I am so sorry. I threw y'all so hard under the bus to get me to stay. Love y'all.
Y'all want to blame anybody for the way that Sunset looked at Rodeo?
Goodbye. We're not.
Brandon.
Nope.
I'm just kidding.
Moving on. So we got most robbed jurors. So like I said, all of y'all leaving was going to be really, really upsetting. But most robbed juror is Crispy.
All right. So I think Crispy won this in the same sense of why Brandon won, is that like there were multiple Rodeos who were like, okay, all Crispy has to do is make it past Golden Gates, and then he's solid and he's in for a couple more rounds. And then, as with most things this season, Rachel won. And so Rachel won, which ultimately sealed Crispy's fate. And I think that if Crispy made it past Golden Gates, do I think that Crispy wins? No. Do I think that Crispy makes it anywhere close to 5? Maybe, depending on circumstances. But I do think that some sunsets were a lot more open with working with Crispy than Rachel. And I do feel that Rachel fell into that Crispy position after Crispy left, but it was not to the same effect.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's kind of self-explanatory. Seb kind of touched on all the issues that kind of really occurred. A bunch of confessionals were made that Crispy was the rodeo that was supposed to survive the slaughtering. And Rachel said, I'm going to win immunities now. And at that point, it kind of said, oh, well, only one rodeo can make it this far. So you can kind of blame Rachel for that. But on a serious note, Crispy, you definitely are a Rob juror, because I do feel like more rounds that you survive, like we can say like we don't know if you would have made it to the end, but I feel like as the game opened up, it wouldn't have been able to be reclosed, if that makes sense. And you kind of would have eventually slithered into a position where you were the one vote that they needed to get things going, which would have made Billy's Big Brother a hell of a lot more interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. But props to you. You got an award.
I love how you say slithered and he was the snake in Food Chain.
No, that was Nick.
No.
What? I'm the snake. What?
By the way, shout out to y'all making Food Chain a really fun night, by the way.
I will say there was multiple comps that I wanted to run this season that honestly turned into great comps, whether it was the longevity of how it affected the game, or just the general fun. Like the summit was my idea. I ran it in Prestige. I wanted to do it again. For people who don't know, I'm sure everyone knows at this point, the summit was literally 2 people go, and you have to pick who wins immunity. And it had to be a unanimous decision. And if neither tribe could concede, they both went to tribal. This is more for the viewers, not for you guys, because we never told the viewers.
So you guys are lucky, because we almost made it if they couldn't decide on which tribe to go, they would have swapped. Yeah,
Which
so Rachel
honestly would have dramatically changed the game, and honestly.
Yeah, so if they didn't make a decision by that time, then Rachel and Chris O would have been Sunsetters, and Nick and Alex would have been Rodeo.
Chris O being one of 2 people to be swapped to my tribe 2 seasons in a row. Wow.
A lot of people talk about
Wow.
Rachel's I Eat Morgan, but we need to talk more about Rachel getting into that second to last room, looking at Cam going, I know you're the mouse, go to the field, I'm going to eat you, we're both winning immunity.
And did.
Alrighty, well, we'll talk more on that, but I do want to get by these because we're not here all night, because I know some of us gotta work in the morning.
So
And we want time to party before we gotta do that. So anyways, best prod chat. So all of y'all were entertaining, I feel, with your little vents, with your little conversations. But some of y'all were definitely bringing that. I would go in there. This person, I would go in their chat, and the stupid stuff they would post in there, whether it was their VLDRs or whatever, and their prod chat guests, I feel really made it fun as well on top of that. So, best prod chat goes to Cam and Julie Ragbeer.
Yeah, so Cam's prod chat was really funny because Cam would say something and then Julie Ragbeer would walk in and be like, yeah, get that bitch out.
Yeah.
And
it was funny to watch, like, the seeds planted, and for like every time, like, Cam would be like, oh, just had a conversation with Trevor today, and Julie would be like, yeah, screw Trevor, he's gotta go. And like it would be for everyone, and it would be like Cam would be like, oh, I just survived Billy's Big Brother. Yeah, you're gonna get whoever was HOH out next. Go.
it was just the genuine enthusiasm that kind of like gave this award. These 3 prod chats in particular were leaps and bounds above the rest. I'm sorry, it's just the truth.
I mean, you got a pop star in Cam set. prod chat. So
But yeah.
Alrighty, so moving on to the next award. Best underdog. So best underdog goes to the person who had some fights and kept fighting and fighting what they could. And it was definitely a hardship for them to be in any kind of power structure. And I feel these three definitely show that. But the underdog this season, this person should have gone home several different times, and it just never happened. They kept going by and by and by and by, and I was just like, how the fuck is this person doing this right now? Whether it's the immunities or just getting those conversations with the people who were finally being open. But best underdog this season goes to Rachel.
This is self-explanatory. I don't feel like anybody needs to say anything. This is literally
I literally called
self-explanatory.
it to Rachel while in the game.
Everyone say something anyway. I want to hear. I need my ego. Help.
I was voting
Love
for us to make it to the end.
Rachel
I told
so
you.
much.
So basically, what really ended up happening here was you were the last rodeo. You were the one against the 9.
Trade
By her own volition, mind you.
And you decided, hey, I'm not going home next, and two more left, and you were like, I'm not going home yet, and that was great stuff. And honestly, the other two deserved their props as well because you guys did also have very good underdog stories as well. So, props.
Okay, so you had anything to say?
Rachel.
Okay,
Rachel's
well.
Rachel. And she's
She
great and
literally-
amazing, and she won't let me go until I say something.
She literally was like, I ain't going home I'm not going home before merge. Like, I'm playing that shot in the dark and I'm making sure that's hitting. And then during Golden Gates, I'm gonna make sure I get close to that time. And then went all the way to 8th place. I did not think that was gonna happen, but she defied the odds. Look at her go.
Y'all should have took her up on her offer to take her to 6 because she was definitely playing in veto. Just saying. So you guys could have easily voted her out 6 with no excuse. That is something that should have been nominated for worst move, but it worked. So we can't really say that.
Alrighty. So going on, best rivalry. So I feel, let's put it out there. There was the Sunset versus Rodeo rivalry, but you had your own little rivalries that were going on, and I feel there were arguments that happened between these people at tribal councils and some really heated moments. But I feel this specific rivalry went on, even if it wasn't in a tribal setting, I felt it went on for a pretty good bit in the chats and everything throughout the merge phase of the game, and really show that heat in between the two of them. So best rivalry of the season goes to Alan Crispy.
I mean, this is not a secret, honestly. It seemed like a lot of the rivalries were definitely one round centric. Besides this one, it seemed like there was just always something happening where it was somebody said something, and somebody responded, and it was just.
I mean, it's also the comments too. You guys got in a full blown fight during one of the tribals. And on top of that, Crispy's leaving words before the drag was literally, I want to drag Alex. Oh, wait, should I remove 2 of those letters? And so I just...
Sorry, Crispy and I both seem to be confused by this.
I will say there
I'm
wasn't
not
a lot.
confused.
I
said what I said.
Just me. Okay.
I will say there weren't a lot of when we say rivalries, as high tense as this was, it was very much Rodeo versus Sunset, not specific people against other people, if that makes sense. So that's where it gets kind of complicated. And some of them were just very Nick versus Esteban was literally at the end of the fucking game.
That was one round.
It was really one round.
And I feel like not Nick, oh my God, Chris O and Morgan's rivalry kind of stemmed from the start of Hypnotic, to come into here. So I didn't feel like it was definitely a rivalry in the pre-merge. But it kind of didn't have any like
It died
like
too soon. It died too soon.
yeah,
Matic
exactly.
had to
What
play
I will
into it. I
say is
think it
I've
was
never-
Morgan throwing me Esteban's name as the test, just because I needed something to not go to Rocks.
I
And then
personally have
Morgan
never
just
been
not
red.
talking to me for most of the rest of the game, except I think when I wished happy birthday.
I feel like we were
Literally.
robbed because I've never been read harder than when Esteban read me when I called myself a whiny bitch and he said whiny bitch is an understatement. That fully gagged me all
I mean,
the
that was
way.
that was. Oh, you
And
guys,
I was like, oh, don't clock me like
Oh
that,
my God,
Esteban. Do
Esteban! I
clock
would
me
not
like
let
that.
Nick forget it. I would not let Nick forget it. Like
yeah,
you got
y'all
eaten
missed.
up.
I feel like that was the most iconic fight of the season, just because they went after the Trevor vote out. Nick said their piece, and then Esteban said their piece, and then it went into the tribe chat. And they were just slinging insults at each other, like not personally insulting, but just very like, "You're a whiny bitch. We fucking know."
Esteban, I love you so much.
And meanwhile, Cam and Morgan are just sitting there like, okay.
I'm like, I'm saving that one for later. That was an understatement.
Alrighty, so moving on. We have the hero of the season. I feel this person really, I felt they came into the merge phase of the game with their heart, and just watching their vote out was just really sad because I genuinely felt they had a very long way that could have been possible for them in this game. And they just, even leaving out the door and just the emotion and everything, they stayed true to themselves the whole time. And I feel with me being a classic hero when I play orcs, usually it's being true to yourself. Being true to yourself and being just proud of it, and just being bringing a kind, genuine soul into it at the same time with it. And so with that being said, hero is Jacob.
This kind of goes without saying. Everyone who knows Jacob knows that Jacob likes to carry himself very respectfully, regardless of what situation they're in. And just very much like when we speak, there were not a lot of heroes in this cast. Let's be so real. Y'all were not very heroic at all. Y'all like were very rude and just not very nice to each other. Let's be completely frank. But Jacob kept positivity. He kept trying to be like talking to people. He would hop on calls with people and would literally refuse to talk game until he got to know how you were doing. And I thought that was like really nice and everything like that. And genuinely, like Jacob is one of my favorite humans, so that kind of makes this really easy for me.
Yeah, he's okay.
Okay. With that being said, every hero has to have its villain. And so let's show who the villains are. Even though, like Billy said, a lot of y'all are not nice to each other at times, but we're going to talk on a game level specifically here. Moving on. Villain. Oh, look, it's the final three. I mean, it worked out for all y'all. So this person, they definitely, I feel like when I see a villain, is somebody who they're true to themselves, but at the same time, they don't give a fuck. And if you're in their way or you're not doing something that they want, it's over. You're done with. Get the fuck out. That is what I see a villain as when these orgs happen. And I feel this person definitely showed that this season. So without further ado, let's present our villain. It is Nick.
I
Let's
know
be-
Nick was
let's be-
so yeah.
Let's be so real for a minute. Like this was not this was not a hard decision at all.
Nice right now.
This was not a hard
Feels
decision
so
at all.
So
Nick
You said
was
it feels
very
nice right now.
yeah. So
I
Nick was
robbed of this in
literally
season 3.
this was something that I think this was the first award we figured out very quickly. But genuinely, Nick just did not. Nick's prod chat is where definitely a lot of shit went down. and this is where it specifically stems from. So Nick, if you want to touch on that, I'm not going to leak your prod chat.
No,
You-
I think for
Oh.
me, this was one of the easier ones just because Nick wouldn't let us live it down that they didn't get villain in season 3 when they should have, and this, that, and the other. And that being said, I think that the final 3 were pretty even in regards to villainy, whether it was the at times isolation of the rodeos. But I think that it takes a whole new level of villainy to tell someone after begging them to give up immunity that they didn't deserve to be there. Reaches a whole new level of villain, and I think Nick locked it in right from there.
And also, like I
Morgan, I
mentioned, they
told you.
literally did not care what happened. If you were in their way, you were gone. You were gone.
the Nick train was coming and you were getting run over.
Can I have a guess of how the prod discussion of Nick being a villain was decided? So Nick's villains, right? And then 2 thumbs up emoji responding to it.
Honestly, in terms of my prod chat, I never really said anything like outside of game. I was just talking about how the game was easy for me
Yeah.
and my boots were easy.
Yeah.
But also like there
Hope
were
Al
times
gets
I
run
was
over by a
annoyed.
truck. I remember.
I also like argued with Prod on multiple occasions this season.
Oh,
Yeah,
that had
but that
nothing.
doesn't-
That had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Also, I thought like I was the one who argued with
I-
Prod.
A lot of
I
you
won't-
guys wanted to push my buttons.
I won't
That was not singular. There was about half the merge tribe at some point pissed me off at some point.
Yeah, I won't leak what was said. But Nick definitely started a lot of conversations with, if I get a strike for this, it's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I did not. Oh my god, no, I
It
didn't.
happened
I literally
twice.
I started it with if I get in trouble for this, it's
No,
fine.
you said I will take a strike for this. Verbatim.
I mean, even somebody in the VL got a lick, so I really don't like anybody could have got touched.
So, all right, next.
I saw Rachel's face, not like that, not like that, not like that.
We have Alliance of the Season. So even though there is the Sunset 9 throughout the whole merge phase, there are miniature groups within the 9. And there are way too many alliances, and a lot of y'all were double, triple dipping. Y'all were all over. Some of y'all were in every single one of those alliances. Others of y'all maybe not. But there is definitely a lot, even though that 9 held that majority for a while, there was still a lot of dynamic because you had these little alliances here that you're seeing on the screen. So you have Bottoms Up, Gag City, and Very Demure, or Demure, however the fuck you know what? I don't watch TikTok. Y'all can come at me for how I just pronounced that.
Demure is a word. It's been in the dictionary for millennia.
Okay, well anyway.
Not the point. Keep going.
Alliance of the Season is Bottoms Up, hey.
Yeah, this alliance occurred right around what, 8? I would say right around 8 or 7, and it was pretty much just locking in the people, making sure that they got to that point, and all 5 got to the 5. Trevor did spearhead this alliance, so shout out Trevor for that. Yeah, there's not really much to say considering all 3 alliances were pretty much from the same cloth of people. It kind of just shows that even though it was the 9, there were a lot of intricate webs that were being spun in between everything. One special shout out I want to give to the Alamo, probably the funniest alliance of the season, which was the remaining Rodeos just being like, "Oh, we're getting run over. Just remember the Alamo."
Can I speak on the Alamo for like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
The second I got voted out, we recreated our group chat and added all of Prod, and I think it might be the only call of the game that all of Prod joined, and it was just like a reunion when we were all in jury and just like shooting the shit for hours, and it was the funniest call I think I had the entire game.
The additional comedy is Rodeo consistently like losing a member and then just making a new alliance with another member of whoever was left. So it was like Rashomon, then the Cowboys, then the Alamo, and it just kept getting smaller and smaller.
And it became Rachel Sandwich.
And then it just became Rachel and Crispy's one-on-one chat.
I also do want to point out how these little intricate webs, something that you notice about these groups is that all three of the final three were involved in it. So that definitely is an asset to all three of their games, that they were in these little groups and they still managed to get on by and make it to that point, which is, I find, pretty impressive, because I would, in some orgs, you would get caught for that. Moving on. So the next award, we got the duo of the season. We have Nick and Trevor, Rachel and Chris, Cam and Morgan. These duos definitely gave us a lot with their dynamics, and it was really fun watching all of these form and develop. But one of these duos specifically, it just really aligns with a foundation that this series started on. And I don't want to reveal too much of it, because I'm going to reveal who won duo and let it go from there.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, when the duo is revealed, you guys can speak on it yourselves. We were going to give you guys a spotlight.
So duo of the season is Rachel and Chris.
Slay. So around the merge, maybe the day that Jacob went home, maybe not. I posted a picture in the tribe chat about my hanging out with the after show peeps and hanging out with B and LJ and having a grand old time. And it was not just a meetup, it was in fact a debrief on the date that I had during that day. Announcing to the after show a little bit of spoiler content that the showmans of the season was a fun time and is a good thing that's happening now. So that's a slay. Go Distortion. Woo!
So Chris,
also,
you can no, hold on. We're gonna let Chris speak before anybody has any questions. Because I see people getting ready.
It's not a question, it's not a question. Nick, all those times that I was telling you about my movie dates and you asked me if I knew people, or if you knew people that were involved, you did. Spoiler. Anyways, Chris can talk now.
Yeah, I got the season.
Yep. So I probably told a couple people this, that I was also in Hoboken helping someone move in, but that was a secondary part to it. The first part was actually going into the city and meeting up with Rachel, to which I went to Hoboken afterwards. Alex, when I told you I saw Bethany, that was all true because all the fares were free. Yeah, I mean, Rachel, I think, has the more interesting half of the story of how it developed during the pre-merge, but yeah, no, this was something that was really cool, and I think it's something that's going to be continuing after the season. So
you think?
All I'm gonna say is this storyline is what kept Prod from not wanting to absolutely quit on everybody this season. Genuinely, this was the one storyline of literally them meeting for the first time and then literally developing this relationship super fast and not in a negative way, but I promise. But genuinely, this was a great storyline. And genuinely, anything else that I may have complained about, this overrode it and was probably the moment of everything.
You guys have the picture?
Yeah,
I don't
Grace, do you
know.
have the picture?
No, I'm presenting awards, y'all.
But it was supposed to be in the slideshow.
Rachel,
No,
Chris, you
so-
guys took a picture too?
So this is my new favorite thing. The only thing better than this that's happened is when a gay version happened. My first ever org. I'm so happy right now. Like I can't even but like it happened gay before, but like this is, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm gonna cry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Grace Grace,
when I
put the
said
hearts up.
foundation, I specifically because Chris and Rachel, they were like, oh, they specifically wanted to speak on this and requested that. But I told them this, and I'm going to say it here. A foundation for distortion is that the game was started by a couple who met in the work community within me and Seb. And me and Seb are now sitting here 2.5 years later, engaged, planning to be married. And look at what our all-star season of all things, a couple starting a game together, causing people to meet and become getting together.
I'm just ready to play the Rachel Crisso ran org. Full circle, am I right?
If I can also throw in one thing here, because all three of the people are here, I also want to give massive thanks to Alex, Jacob, and Heather for pulling me into this community earlier this year, under which case I would not have even been playing Distortion Season 8 and definitely would not be here. So I want to thank them three in particular too, along with the rest of Prod.
And then one more thing I want to add. We did not tell the VL anything as much as I really wanted to. We did not say a singular thing. But genuinely, this was great. It made hosting this whole entire season worth it. I'm so glad you guys got the reveal you wanted.
Yeah, even though I forgot the picture, but I did add something to your little slide after. Y'all can share your photo, and I'm sorry I forgot it, but I did add a little something, like I said. So, oh, added some little hearts for y'all. Moving on, we got the showmance of the season. We got our first, like, there was in the past there were other people who flirted with each other, but our first full on romantic showmance. Like, look at this. This is so adorable. And it, again, starting this game with my fiance, it makes me really happy to see this. Who I met in the community. So going on to, oh gosh, my computer's annoying. Physical pots. So all three of y'all, I went back, we all went back and counted the comps in the merge phase, and a lot of y'all came back. But there wasn't a clear winner for the comps because all of y'all were pretty much on level playing field. All three of y'all won 3 challenges in some way, shape, or form, whether it was in the form of immunity, or it was a veto, or a power of protection, or power redemption. Y'all won the 3 comps that you did. But I had to take it to fact that even though y'all were complaining, oh, look at all the hero comps and the freaking merge. But I feel when it came to their placement in the competitions, especially in the merge phase and all that, I feel they definitely had a little B-side of them. And that was, I never expected it from this person, but Physical Pots goes to Esteban.
So this is also like in terms of, even though the comps did come out, like this is also like a clutch factor to it. And specifically speaking, the fact that the entire tribe was literally begging Esteban to literally take the immunity off of him so they could vote him out also kind of adds to this as well. Esteban literally went in his broad chat and he said, "I'm not becoming the person for Micronesia." And that was probably the best part because, like, we weren't sure. We honestly weren't sure if it was going to happen or not because Morgan was turning on those tears, you know. And, you know, tears can be very swaying. But Esteban held strong, and I'm so glad he did. Sorry, Trevor, but, you know.
Okay.
Esteban's amazing. I love you, Esteban. Mwah.
Alrighty, moving on. We have social player this season, Cam, Rachel, and Morgan. So something that we looked into were those tracks rankings that we had y'all submit for the rounds that I did not forget to make a fill out because the trust rankings were a little mess this season. Not gonna lie, but they were a mess. And I tried my hardest to keep up when I could. And at times it was a little hard for me considering working 2 jobs and all that, and I just got busy. But and I'd be like, oh shoot, forget the trust rankings. But we did look at results that we did end up taking throughout the pre-merge and the merge phase of the game. And for two of you, for Rachel specifically, it was definitely you dominated socially that OG Rodeo tribe, like dominated. And then Cam and Morgan, y'all dominated the Sunset people all the way, and y'all kept it going consistent the whole time. So, social player of the season goes to Morgan. The amount of times you were always reaching the top of those trust rankings, that was really, me being a social player, that was really cool to see that.
Yeah, and
Go
not
ahead, Tim.
that, Lyndon. I think as well, like what adds on to this is that like Cam's social gameplay really helped when it came to riding the middle and really going under the radar. But Morgan had this way with their words and with recouping relationships that they felt were slipping. I feel like Morgan did a really good job of being able to speak to those people, and those people going to their prod chats and saying, "Okay, I feel a lot better with Morgan now. Okay, I feel like I'm getting some. I feel like it's productive with Morgan," and I feel like whether it was purely game or social or in between, I think that Morgan like did a good job of like being social and using it as a game tactic at the same time.
I definitely had the exact same conversation with Morgan at one point where I definitely said the exact response in my prod chat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything really else to add, except kind of touched on all the points that I wanted to make.
Period.
Alrighty, moving on. We have strategic player. We have Trevor, Nick, and Alex. And all three of y'all always brought with your minds and the way y'all brain was thinking. But this person, I've kind of already touched on them throughout the beginning of this. I've never seen somebody full on strategically, just absolutely control everything with everything they were thinking of. And I think it just worked really well with the social player of the season. I feel every social partner needs to have a very, very strategic side to them. And so, in a very strategic counterpart. So that person for strategic player goes to Nick.
I mean, to be fair, was there anything this season that didn't go through Nick in any capacity strategically?
Trevor's boot.
gonna
Sun
say-
top representation.
I will say that it
But
was
Nick, you
very
knew it was
close.
happening.
Sorry. Anyways, I think for us it was very close between Trevor and Nick. I think that Trevor was very under the radar with his strategy while working with Nick, but I feel like Nick got the upper edge because they were not only working with Trevor on the strategic side, but Nick was using their strategy to aid their partnership with the Gag City, with Bottoms Up, with the other alliances. The fact that Nick set up so many alliances to keep themselves in the forefront was just impressive. And I'm going to go back to it. The fact that Nick had enough strategic to say, Wesley, I don't think this is your best move, and really like was able to move. And yes, that final 5 move was not in Nick's favor, but it was never anything that was going to diminish Nick's game to get to the final 3. It was always something that was just a hiccup. It was never going to be something that stops them.
All right, and moving on, we have player. I feel Cam, obviously you winning, you don't qualify for this because your win makes you a player of this season as it is. But I feel you 3 personally, like y'all absolutely just killed it in this game. Y'all may not have gotten the win, but your gameplay was definitely really on a high level, and you 3 definitely, it was just watching y'all play. It's just like I just gonna keep saying, y'all came in here and y'all killed it, and it was just really interesting watching the way you 3 would maneuver every single round. and seeing how much power. But this person here, I feel from the jump, I felt they were an extremely powerful person. And they kept that same momentum throughout the whole entire game. And it was just one of the most impressive things that I have seen. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, how is this person not getting targeted? And they didn't. And they ended up making their way to the final tribal council. So, player of the season, we have the 2 finalists left here, is Nick.
I think, first of all, congratulations on being a 2-time player of the season.
And Morgan's a high honorable mention for this too.
Yeah, I think
It's a
all
meta
three.
fuse.
I think all three of you really like major mark on the season. Trevor said something that I never really thought about when it comes to returning seasons and all-stars. And he said something along the lines of, it's not about the placement, it's about the respect. And I think that the three of you definitely earned that respect. You earned that title of all-stars. You guys were brought back for a reason, and you guys really showed it. And I think that like Nick played from literally the second the game started, like, and I think that we touched on it before. I'll admit, I think at a certain point in the merge, I was like, oh, Nick is drifting. I feel like Nick is like using the power they gained in the pre-merge to get a point. There was points where Nick would wake up at like 4 p.m. and then like automatically be in the know of what was happening. And so I was like, okay, this feels very like, okay, like Nick's just getting the info, but Nick's not really. But like, I feel like besides the Trevor vote, I feel like you really picked it up towards the end and made it not only a good game, but a visual game. And I think that ignoring the Trevor vote, I think you were in probably the best spot strategically and as a player throughout the most of the season, because not only were you really strong gameplay wise, you were vocal. And I do think that obviously your social game really wasn't the best, but I think because of your strategy, you're able to align with those people who had all the information, like Cam, like Morgan, like Trevor.
Love y'all.
Yeah, and like I said this was picking between Nick and Morgan for this award was definitely a very difficult choice, because you both just, like I said, watching the way you both just came in here and were just able to hit the ground running when you wanted things to be done, and watching just that power, like I said, just, yeah, both of you. It was a close battle. So going on, that was the player of the season. And obviously, usually a lot of people do player of the season for their last award, but y'all know every season I make my stupid little silly superlatives for everybody. So y'all have fun and listen to the chaotic ones that have been developed, and shout out to my other prod members for helping come up with some of these. So, oh wait, never mind.
Host favorites first.
Host favorites first. Oh my God, I'm already in superlative. Yo, Jen, you're here, right?
I am.
Of
All
course,
right,
Mother's
you can
here.
present your award.
My one time of the night to speak. I'm here. This has been a very fun season. You guys, I know I've been a little bit more in the backgrounds, but I've been watching and I've been taking notes. This person is my favorite. Just because their energy just always makes me smile. Every time they're in a room, they make me laugh, and I feel like this person and I do see eye to eye on a lot of things, just in general in life, and I love that so much about them. So my host favorite is Crispy. Love you.
Love you, Jen. My favorite award ever. Love you so much.
Alrighty. So moving on to Benji.
Of course, I'm next. Before I do, Prod, a lot of Prod has already got to give their flowers, so let me give mine. To the final three, I love each and every one of you for all the reasons in the world. I think you are exceptional as people. Y'all played a hell of a game. Again, be proud of yourselves. I know Morgan is. Nick, you should be. Cam, you should be. Congratulations. This season, I wanted to come at Prod Fave from an unbiased opinion, from what I like to see and watch throughout the season. And I normally root for what I feel similar to, which is the underdog, someone who has to fight, scratch, kill, win, is willing to do what they can to get to that next round. I don't know, it's particularly entertaining for me to watch. With that being said, my host favorite is Rachel. Rachel, seeing you fight in this game was something very nice to watch, and getting to know you as well has been a highlight. You definitely have a friend, a bestie in me. So happy that we got this time that we did together, and congratulations.
I have fought for this all season. This is the only award I wanted. This is the only thing that I won. This is the best thing to come out of this season. Chris, close your ears. Thank you so much. I am honored. Oh my god.
Alrighty, so moving on, we are going to Billy.
Yo, what's up, guys? I've been here the whole time, but so long story short, I'm a big storyline guy. I don't really care how you played in the game. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't give a fuck if you played amazing. I don't give a fuck if you played horribly. I just care about what you did in your production chat. I care about what the storyline was. I care about a redemption arc from being a complete robot in your last season to being one of the most emotional people on this season. Reveal it. Chris O, you are my host favorite. Oh my god, I was so invested in this storyline. I was giving both of you guys advice in your production chats because you both were squirrely little girls trying to get advice about this whole entire situation. But on a real note, genuinely, we didn't get a lot about you as a person back in Thrilltopia, and when you came back, I wanted to see more of you. Who is Chris O? And genuinely, even though you did not play as well as you did in Thrilltopia, genuinely, like I said, even on your boot post, go back and look, you found something a lot better than what a game would be. And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, Billy. I really appreciate it. And it's really funny because I was just texting a friend about that I went on a date with Rachel. He's like, "Oh, the robot finally got found love somewhere." I was like, "Why is this the only thing I'm known as?"
No, but on a serious note, genuinely, I'm a storyline guy over everything. Genuinely, you were. I will say, special shout out to Trevor. All of our sports talk in that chat definitely gave me a real tough run for the money, but this kind of, you get it.
It's just the craziest thing to me how I watched Chris being a whole ass fucking villain last season. I still remember I called him, I said he was the villain the pre-merge stage of the game. I said this man's the fucking villain. Like he's too crazy. And then you just did I felt you did a complete 180 on this season. And I'm like, we saw a whole different side of you, and that was really cool to see. Alrighty, so moving on. Oh, Gracie's host fame. I just want to preface, I say this every single time I present this award. I love all of y'all so much with all of my heart. But I do have to pick somebody who their journey was just so much fun to see, and watching them talk in their prod chat always brought me joy. And there is one interview I specifically got to sit on also after their elimination. And oh, did I just pin myself? Oh my goodness. Elimination, and it was definitely I really just enjoyed listening to their perspective on things every single round, just getting to listen to their dynamics. And yeah, no, this person was just definitely always someone I really enjoyed. And watching them, I feel anytime I see them play in Org 2, they always just do well in some capacity. Do they win all the time? No, but they always do well. And it was just the way they were able to continue doing it. And so my host favorite this season, sorry, Nick, I'm taking your fucking final tooth away from you. It's Trevor. And also, I will say, speaking of Nick, Nick and Trevor's relationship was definitely one of my favorites to watch throughout the season.
Oh my gosh, my favorite final two of Grace. in the that shall not be named, but
Alrighty, so moving on to Seb.
All right, so I thought about this a lot. So, at first I was like, I'm gonna pick Jason in hopes I can get some of that money. But I realized that's not a smart, effective tactic. So, I truly, I feel like that all of the people who made Merge, your gameplay might have frustrated me at times, but I don't think that I could hate any of you as humans. I think that we casted you first time for a reason, and we brought you back for a second. But I think that there was one person who I think that their storyline wasn't apparent to the game, but I think it was apparent like in their prod chat. And I think I really enjoyed hearing their talks, and I really enjoyed just I just enjoyed the journey that they went through and hearing their thoughts. And so, and I will say this was very difficult because I did try to pick someone I had not chosen for host fave before. And that was a lot of people who made Merge. And so my host fave, I had to break it. I couldn't keep that, unfortunately. My host fave this season, it was Cam. Cam, you're funny. I don't know. I still think the whole prod chat during Touchy Subjects was like, yo, why didn't Cam get like any votes for like funniest tribe May? And I think that like it's just because if you played this game under the radar, and that showed in the gameplay, but it's also because I think all your funny went to your prod chat. And in turn, I got a good laugh out of it, and I got to see this game. And I mean, like, you are the Sandra Diaz Twine of Distortion Survivor now. And so I just like I think my biggest shout outs as well would go to the Nick and Morgan, because you guys played this game really well, and I appreciated both of your confessionals. But yeah, Camdra really brought it, and I'm just super glad that the fact that you almost said no to Timeline of Terror, and then you accepted your spot, and it brought you here as a 2-time Distortion winner, is still nuts to me. But yeah, and for the record, I never said Al was not funny. So why are we slandering Seb?
I was gonna say I saw Al just now, and I'm like, Al, don't worry, you still find ways to crack me up. And there is a specific quote that you said this season that is still the funniest thing that I have heard in like throughout orgs. I'll share that in reunion, but I still like laugh about it to this day. I'm already starting to laugh at it now.
Listen, there isn't anything that I.
You're no longer the biggest fuck up with Billy's big brother, so congrats.
Wait, what?
Cam's no longer the biggest person who fucked up Billy's big brother.
I will say with Al is the reason that I have so many memes. So if you're subjected to that, blame them.
No, no, stop. This is Cam's moment. This is Cam's moment. No, stop,
That
stop,
is.
stop. This is Cam's moment.
yeah, moving
I'm
on.
just in the chat. I'm just in the chat. No, I didn't.
But
I'm
no,
so
Cam
sorry.
No, but for Itch is really no, and you know what's like I want to add on to this as well is that I have known Cam for let's see, in a couple months. It's going to be 6 years, y'all. 6 years. And the fact that this man I bugged him and bugged him to play season 2 because I saw on his little Twitter page that he was playing orgs again. And I said, motherfucker, you better come and play Distortion. And he's like, I'll think about it. And I'm like, no, you're coming to play Distortion. He came and played and then got the victim in Billy's Big Brother night with that safety without power not being used. And then even though he was a little upset about that for a while, he came back, he won timeline. I'm like, oh, look it, he did it. And then he came and won again. Like he's the person literally I have, well, no, he's not the person I've known, but on this side of the community, he's the person I've known the longest. And it just really just such a full circle moment just watching this all happen. And yeah, Miles would be so proud of you.
And would. Also, shout out to that weed shot glass.
Okay, so moving on. I was skipping the host favor stuff earlier, but I was just excited. Superlative time for real this time. So we're gonna cover the pre-jury first. So, pre-jury superlatives. We're going to start with Jason. The 15K money bagger. So, on Jason's exit, he literally was like, oh, you know what? That's fine. Y'all voted me out. I got 15K throughout the whole time throughout the past couple of weeks. I got money and y'all didn't. And the amount of jokes that kept continuing with the Sunset people about this $15,000 was so funny. And so it was so fitting to give Jason that superlative. Moving
also,
on.
I want to point out, he also said we might be screwed for challenges and stuff without him. I think there has never been a more wrong prediction about how a tribe would turn out from voting them out than what he made right then and there.
So moving on, we got Gigi, the Red Queen. And the reason she got this nickname is because before her vote out, she went to, because she supports she kept being like, I'm going to see the Reds game. I'm seeing the Cincinnati Red, and got her hair dyed all red as well, like her hair done red as well. And she just had such a, she just kept carrying that color like crazy throughout the season. And I feel it's just so fitting for her. So moving on to Mike, the strong paranoia. The paranoid parts of this is that Mike, the few rounds that he was in the game, and he did it all throughout timeline, and he does it every time he plays. I'm going home. Even if he's not even in danger, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home. The first round, he's usually going, I'm going home. He eventually left. And in the strong paranoia, I feel he just had so much strength and throughout things that were happening. And I would just really just appreciate him for sticking it out with us and continuing on until he got voted out. And I'm just so grateful that he was able to keep that moving for him. So moving on to Mikey, the Revenge Tour headliner. So another storyline that was in this game. After Mikey got voted out, oh, it's the Mikey Revenge Tour. The Mikey Revenge Tour.
Yeah.
So he's the headliner of that tour.
And was.
And was.
Oh, work.
I think that the full circle moment is that Mikey going home was a revenge tour for trying to vote out Staten. So,
Facts,
literally
it
no one touches Staten on my watch.
It literally was. Oh,
Everyone that tried it is on this fucking list. So don't try me.
it literally
My
was
Sort of
us
Cam and
making
Morgan.
Gag City. And Gag City is a little bit of an inside joke. That was a Stardew Valley game that was played that Mikey was also in, and we went, wouldn't it be funny if Mikey got added to that chat? And literally the round we said it, Mikey got voted out of the game.
Jennifer.
Flopped.
You
Like,
know, I'm just I'm honored to have a further legacy than what I thought I had.
Okay. So going on. Jared, the long time coming. You literally had been waiting so long. And I remember you kept like when you would message Seb and all that in different conversations, you kept holding it out so long to finally come back to this game. And I hadn't seen you play a game in a while. I don't know if you've been playing anywhere else, but you like the way you came after the 2.5 years and you said I'm ready to go. And what something I love too is that after you got voted out, I said you were like, I don't care how well I placed or whatever, I'm always coming back to this series. So I know you're always gonna keep that door open for us, and that's something really just really nice to see. Moving on. Stay in the condom rocker. So the rocker part, obviously, because he got rocked out, but the condoms are for the people who don't know. He played an idol in the first round of the merge in Heatwave and said, Prod, I have protection, and just holds a condom to the camera and uses it as his idol. And it was valid because he ended up he wouldn't have gone home had he not played it, but even if he got majority, he still would have been safe because it was bad iron. And he got rocked out with it. Got rocked out this next time.
Not everything protection would have resulted in an STD or pregnancy, but it's always good to have it just in case.
Shout out that gonorrhea plate.
So going on. Brandon, the target in the dark, because that shot in the dark made its move, and all the odds were defied, and he became he became that number one target in a matter of quick minutes. Moving on, the jury superlatives. We have Jacob, the Rodeo Blizzard. The Rodeo tribe, y'all got picked off. Y'all were a little a mess. And blizzards are messy. But the other thing about it is that Jacob works at Dairy Queen, so this is so fitting for him.
You know what's also
the Rodeo
funny?
Blizzard.
You know what's also funny is that a blizzard is a natural disaster, and Jacob played World's End.
Moving on. Chris, the Jeff Ellis Award. So Jeff, for those who probably don't know, or yet for those who know, he was our guest chaser for the trivia challenge, and we had to give some recognition to him here, not only for helping us out, but something Jeff does in every org. If you're a close ally of his, he will literally go home for you. He will give immunity away for you. He will play an idol for you, and that is what Chris did. And even when Chris didn't do something, there were several times before that he said, I'm going to get voted out. I will go home over this, especially the other Rodeo people. I'll go home over this person. I'm giving my immunity away to this person. will literally puts a whole person before himself. And he, even though he didn't go home the round he gave his immunity away, he still did it and still played it. Yeah, no, what was I saying? I got mixed up. But yeah, he gave his immunity away, and I feel there were several instances where he thought of doing it again. And Jeff, I've seen him do this, or heard of him do this several times when he's played. And he did it for me and Belly and EXP.
I think we should also include all the times in my prod chat where I'm way more worried about Rachel over on the other swaps tribe than my own.
You were. So moving on, Crispy, the Angel of the Gates, because obviously you were not voted out in typical Survivor fashion, and we did not make y'all play Billy's Big Brother that early. But when you get eliminated from Golden Gates, you go to the Gates, and you became an angel because you were a fallen person in this game. Moving on. Lennon, the superlative Eaton, because we had to pay homage to the guy who tried to steal your intro video for you.
Also, I just want to give a special shout out, Lyndon. I know you haven't gotten any awards or anything, so you can get my special award, which is you were my winner pick for the season, just so you know. That's all.
Moving on. Alex, the biggest threat, because every time there would be so many conversations. Alex is a threat. Alex is a threat. Alex is a threat. And so it fits.
I personally, and I put this in the prod chat, I wanted your superlative to be The Blind Side starring Sandra Bullock, because every time you play this game, you find yourself in a position where they just take you out and you just do not know. And it's frustrating every time I watch it, but every time you play Distortion, you've been blindsided in one way or another.
Moving on. Rachel, I feel this. We were going over superlative ideas. I'm sorry, this had to make the cut on that. The Morgan Eater, one of the funniest org moments that I have seen. Well, Rachel's given me two of them, but one of them was I'm just sitting there moderating Food Chain and seeing what happens right when Jen posts the banner, like right at that second. I eat Morgan. And it was the funniest thing. And y'all just sat there and did nothing for the rest of the time. Literally, it was really, after all the chaos and everything that was happening, it was one of my favorite moments, was just getting to sit there watching y'all all come together, and y'all just started giggling for a straight half of the time over that. But it is one of my favorite moments that I've seen. It was just so funny. Al, the Billy the Puppet Big Brother victim. So Al is over here always idolizing, and anytime Billy speaks, always sending the Billy the Puppet gifts. And Al happened to go out on Billy's Big Brother night. And so on Billy's game, shall I put it that way, Billy's game.
It took two seasons, but I finally exacted my revenge.
And Al
So
lost.
Billy wanted to kill me this entire time. Okay, I see what it is.
Next up, Wesley, the Interrupter. Because Wesley, he always had his mind and he was ready to speak no matter what. Even if somebody was saying stuff all the time, Wesley would always be like, oh, I'm coming in here and I'm going to say how I feel. And then we got Trevor, the challenge corrector, because every time we would post stuff and post challenges and all that, Trevor's like, are you sure? Like, I know several of y'all would.
Can I please speak on this? Can I please speak on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Trevor and I had the most funny thing.
It was
I forget
so
exactly
good.
which question it was, but during the trivia
I know which question it was. It was the Scrabble question.
Yeah, so I asked Trevor, and I'm like, hey, Trevor, what's the color of the triple word score in Scrabble? And he's like, I can't see colors. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that.
I said, I know you're not asking me that question, Billy Vance.
Oh, so Trevor's the reason? Trevor's the reason.
Trevor's, and then they did a challenge immediately after that. The only way you could do the puzzle was during finding the color grading.
These are general trivia questions that don't actually require color. Because I didn't know based on Scrabble. I knew based on general trivia.
Listen, we're not getting into that. You got your say.
Sorry,
But
I can't see colors.
that was
guys.
probably one of the most funny parts of the season because like a lot, Trevor was like, I know you didn't just ask me that. And I'm like, I almost asked him, I said, why? And then I'm like, oh.
And you know what was so funny about that? Even though we took those questions out, the results, the same 3 people would have won immunity.
I mean, I will say I didn't even open the puzzle. By the time I even like read the challenge, the puzzle was already thrown away. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah.
Alrighty, so moving on. Esteban, the Global All-Star, because you know Global All-Stars of Drag Race is currently airing, and you participated in the season being on the other side of the world, and I feel you represent that so well because you, even though you were on such a huge time zone difference, you still showed up and showed out, and you're still here with us. And I feel everybody should definitely give Esteban some appreciation for taking some time out of his day to participate in our nights.
Yes, and I want to clarify, we are not comparing you to this season of Global All-Stars.
I
You
haven't
are
even
much
watched
better.
it, so I don't know
You
how
are
it is.
much better than this
Not missing
season
much.
of Global All-Stars, Esteban. Okay, continue.
Thank you all.
All I'm gonna say is this like making fun of Trevor's colorblindness in the chat is absolutely crazy to me.
The next
I'm
one,
not.
I feel the next superlative was the first one that I created, and I think it's my favorite one that I made. And that is for Nick. The Ugly Grace photo collector. I swear to God, every single fucking time I opened a one-on-one or a group chat, it would be that god-awful picture of me and Nick being like, this is how I feel right now. This is how I feel right now. This is when this person and this person, when this happened, and it'd just be that stupid that picture right there in that background, that stupid, ugly photo of me. It's just every time I would open a chat, it would always be that picture there.
That's the second worst out of context one that's been taken from you.
I love you so much, Grace.
The second one, oh, the Republican videos first. Okay, I was like, wait a second. And then Morgan, the crying actor. Morgan, I'm gonna say this. I jumped on that call like when you first got on with Esteban. I actually thought you were sobbing. Like I went to Seb and I'm like, because I'm in there cooking dinner and I'm listening to you. I'm like, is Morgan sobbing right now? Like, is Morgan sobbing right now? And then I realized it was not a real and I'm like, hold up, what?
I have to defend Morgan here. Morgan did tell me that it started off as fake and then turned very real halfway through the conversation.
Like sometimes when you're like fake crying, you just start like real crying and you just have to feel that moment. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't happen a lot. And so I was just feeling it. I was just leaning into it.
I was listening in, and at first I was like, oh my God, this is like snot coming out of your nose type crying. Like
Literally.
I was like, oh, and then like as it was going on, I was like, oh, this is like, I mean, this is the nicest way. This is brat crying. This is I didn't get what I want crying.
Oh no,
I
it
I
was
want to say something. Yeah, but my mom really convinced that he is crying, and he said like, "Why you're letting him cry?" And he said like, "No, it's just game."
No, literally, I was like, Esteban's not gonna give it to me after that. Esteban is too smart. He fucked me. He fucked it was fake.
Yeah, so no, that was one of a funny moment for me too. Is just Morgan's just sitting there, they did turn into real tears based on what y'all are saying. And Esteban's just like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to thank you. I'm keeping this immunity. I'm just like, oh my gosh. It was just so crazy. I'm like, Morgan's just over here just with the tears, and Esteban's just like, I'm sorry.
Literally, him having like no
Esteban-
reaction.
Esteban
ate
calling
me
with
up.
me after being like, I do feel bad, but like if Morgan has to go, Morgan has to go.
And finally, we got to our winner. I did finalize all this like after like the votes were read and everything, but and that is Cam, the Cameron Diaz Twine, because obviously he has now won the series twice, and that is something that Sandra got to pull off first in Survivor, well, before Tony, but he obviously has to fit this superlative. Like, it just
And
really, just nothing else for it. I feel just really.
and Cam, I hope that in 2 to 3 years, when we host Winners at War, you become our first 3-time winner.
That'd be funny as fuck.
To be fair,
Not too
Cam
much.
winning now pushes that back an additional season. So
Cam's not allowed to play in any more returnee seasons.
Oh yeah, yo.
Ever.
Now I have to wait 22 seasons for that to happen.
All right. And yeah, finally, we love y'all. Thank you. We love y'all so much for being a part of every Works Dream season. Distortion has been such a fun ride for the last 2.5 years. And to see that you guys are the reason we have made it this far, and y'all all agreeing and saying yes to playing this season is definitely the biggest accomplishment. And we appreciate each and every single one of you for no matter how well you did, no matter how long you lasted, you still all put some sort of your time into this game. And it was just really just so awesome. And another iconic moment was definitely the Night Zero call when literally all of y'all were there.
So, we do have like charts and stuff for you guys. I've been meticulously keeping track of that most of the season. Jen made it really pretty. But the one thing we don't have right now is episode titles. We're gonna have to go back and kind of figure that out.
Yeah. So
Because we
charts
had
will
the
be
VL voting on it, and then things happened, and then we just forgot. But so I think that's everything we have. If you guys have questions, we're gonna take it off stream because we don't want to like
Yeah.
blast
So-
that. But seriously, if you guys have questions, please ask. My PMs are specifically open if you want critical gameplay analysis from me. A lot of you will not like what I have to say, but it's always fun to hear.
We will end the stream with this. Distortion is taking the rest of the year off. Ah! I hate taking long breaks, but I need a long break. So, but in the meantime, within today or probably tomorrow, you will get roles updated on Discord. Charts will be posted. Either we did not do an Edgic Jacob. I think you forget what org you're playing. That being said, thank you so much to each and every one of you. I think that this has been a successful season, and I am so thankful that that we're able to do an all-star season in the first place. And with that, I'm going to stop the stream.